Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good friends.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome into Sports 56 Middays as we get you set for the sports weekend. A lot going on. Unfortunately, a lot of it's bad news in the world of sports with this Delta variant of the COVID-19. Oh, my gosh, we got more cancellations with games, whether it be Major League Baseball or Team USA, and that is not good. We will discuss that on the program today, but we have a lot of good news as well and a lot of great stories to get into. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn on this Friday, July 16th, 2021. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. First hour of the program is brought to you by Action 24/7. As far as our guests are concerned, we got a couple of great guests for you today. In about 20 minutes or so, Drew Hill will join us, Memphis Grizzlies beat writer for the Daily Memphian. We're getting closer to the draft. It's a couple weeks away, less than a couple weeks away, 2 weeks from yesterday. And we have Ja Morant just going crazy on social media. Team USA has now lost Bradley Beal, and just moments ago we found out that Kevin Love is withdrawing from the team. Jeremy Grant is in health and safety protocol. So there's going to be at least 2 players added to the team. And Ja had some interesting things to say, or I guess implicate, on social media yesterday, and then went off on social media about the whole social media as a whole. So we'll talk to Drew Hill about that. Also some moves that the Grizzlies could possibly make here in the offseason. At 11:05, Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. We will preview next week's SEC Media Days in Hoover, Alabama. And, of course, Sports 56 will be there. Stats will be there all week long. We'll have great guests Monday through Thursday. But Tony, with a primer for next week, but also comments on what Mark Emmert had to say yesterday. Some interesting comments from the president of the NCAA, which we'll discuss on the program today. So Drew Hill at 10:25, Tony Barnhart at 11:05. We got 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. We'll do that at 12:30. I think it's a really fun category. We'll give you an update on the Open Championship at Royal St. George's as round 2 is firmly underway. Also, some moves being made in Major League Baseball, a game that did not take place last night, as I mentioned earlier, Yankees-Red Sox. We will discuss the implications of that. So it's all coming up on a very busy Friday edition of Middays. Again, as always, if you'd like to participate in the show, fantastic. Text in at 901-360-8255 during open segments. You can call in again at 901-360-8255. It's the same phone number for the call-ins as it is for the texts. If you want to just kick back, relax, and just listen and do nothing, that's fine as well. We always appreciate you. Eli, how are you? Oh, we can't hear you.
Now can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
I'm pretty good.
Good.
I'm better than Team USA.
You were fantastic yesterday. So I would say it's a downgrade, though. Feeling just pretty good.
Yeah, well, it comes and goes. It's Friday, though, so that helps. But, yesterday I just felt really good.
Okay, I'm not going to panic here. But last night, and I told you this earlier in the week. I said this earlier in the week. I go, if you really want to get depressed, watch the national news. No matter what it is, it always seems to be 90% negative stories, and then they throw in that like one feel-good at the end. But this Delta variant of COVID-19, it's getting a little scary. It's getting a little antsy. Yesterday, there was at least a half dozen Yankees that tested positive. Not contact tracing, 6 guys that tested positive, including Aaron Judge. They canceled last night's scheduled game between the Red Sox and the Yankees. It was going to be nationally televised on ESPN. In the meantime, we'll get to this in a second. Bradley Beal, who I assume, because of comments his wife has made on social media, did not get the vaccination. He tested positive. He is off the team. He is no longer on Team USA. Jeremy Grant is in health and safety protocol. Kevin Love, not because of COVID, is off the team as well. So that is certainly being affected by COVID. And tonight's exhibition game against Australia has been canceled. Are you getting a little worried as we are right around the corner from fall football and then on to basketball?
Like getting worried in what realm? Like
that we go backwards, that we don't move forward.
No. Like I'm not worried about games being canceled or things like that. It does. There's still going to be the token things that happen, such as the Yankees Red Sox last night. But I think they will be few and far between. So I'm not worried. No.
Numbers are up in Tennessee. In fact, the most cases here recently in the United States, in the state of Tennessee. Los Angeles County has gone back to mandatory indoor masks. Tokyo, of course, which has nothing to do with us, but the Summer Olympics are about to happen there. Nobody is getting the vaccine, and you have the Olympic Games coming up, which is certainly, I would imagine, worrisome for athletes. By the way, Novak Djokovic has committed to playing in the Olympics, so you have some bailing out, some continuing to want to perform. Simone Biles and the Team USA women's gymnastics team is there, but that's a little concerning. However, that is Tokyo. But here in the United States, the numbers are going up. I'm with you, but I'm a little more concerned, probably a little bit more worried because I watched that national newscast last night and saw all these stories to worry me a little bit. But a couple of sporting events last night. Hopefully we don't see that continual increase incrementally as these days go on, because all of a sudden you can see football right around the corner. We can reach it. We can almost touch it. And the last thing we want to see is, we were going to go full capacity, but we can't do that. That would just be, it would be so depressing for a nation that has already been depressed for the last year and change. We can't go back. And that's why I stress, get your damn vaccinations, for goodness sake. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital just announcing today that all their employees have to be vaccinated by August. And there is a low percentage that have been vaccinated that work there, at least from the last report I saw.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't, as I've said many times, I just don't, there is no explanation you can give me for not getting the vaccine that I will accept, other than like literally a medical thing that you cannot get it for whatever reason, but it's going to do damage to you. But if there's no other explanation I can accept of not getting the vaccine. I don't even understand people that don't get it. The data is overwhelmingly showing you that you should get it. If you choose not to, then you don't make no sense to me.
This goes back to something I had mentioned on our show months ago when I went in for a physical and I was talking to my doctor. And I didn't mention who my doctor is, and I won't mention it now. But he said it's going to basically come down to where if you don't get vaccinated, there's nothing that people are going to be able to do for you. You're on your own. Dan Wolken wrote about it in USA Today about the college football season. You only have yourselves to blame if you get COVID and you're not vaccinated. The problem is it still affects a lot of other people. It just doesn't affect you. If it only affects you, who cares? Do what you want to do. I stress that you get it. If you don't want to get it, it's still your prerogative. But here's the problem, is it affects others. So hopefully people who have been on the fence will get off the fence and get it done. But what we're seeing now, whether it be with athletes or just Joe Q public out there, that if you have not gotten your shot, there's a chance you're going to come down with a positive test. Even those who have gotten their shots, their vaccinations, can get positive tests. Jimmy Kimmel, just happened to him. But I don't think the effect is as serious when you've had your vaccination as it could be if you have not had the vaccination. So I hate to start the show off. It's Friday. Everybody's feeling good and start the show off with this news. But it was very prevalent yesterday, very, very prevalent, that it has not completely gone away, not by any stretch of the imagination.
The situation with Team USA is interesting now, because technically right now they have 6 players available to them.
Right, because you have 3 that are still involved in the NBA Finals, plus these other guys that have been.
The Kevin Love thing, Kevin Love should. The fact that Kevin Love was ever on this team, this just now even illustrates further how dumb that was to have Kevin Love on this team to begin with. When he missed most of the season with an injury that now he is using as his reason for withdrawing. Well, no kidding. So that still makes no sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
The question is like how they go about choosing the replacement, because these replacements that come in are basically going to have no time whatsoever. Like, you're not. First of all, you better be in shape. And 2, like you're going to have like a practice or 2 maybe before. But they're going to Tokyo on Monday, and then they're going to have a few days there where I guess maybe they could get into practice or 2. But it's I mean, there is not going to be much time at all for these new players, whoever they are that they select, to have any idea for sure, like any chance to play with some of these other guys and all that. It'll be interesting to see. It does give them an opportunity. They've seen the team, and we know they lost a couple of games. They can look at and say, okay, in these games, this has kind of been our weaknesses. We need to get people to address these areas.
Right.
And so you could lets you maybe correct some mistakes. Again, Kevin Love withdrawing absolutely lets you correct a mistake.
Well, that's on Colangelo. That's on Colangelo, and that's
no
what.
Question. It's Colangelo and Popovich. I mean, Popovich is part of that too. But I know the Ja Morant talk is out there. I don't. Do they want to? The question is, would they take somebody that wasn't even on their initial list of 57 guys they considered? Because Ja wasn't on that list, which is still mind-boggling.
Okay,
but would they go off of that list for the replacement? I mean, to me, like, I love Ja and all that, but if you're selecting a point guard right now, you would have to call Trae Young first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would have to be your first guy. Like, he played in the playoffs deep. Like, you have to.
Well, you beg Steph Curry. You beg Steph Curry.
Well,
to
Steph's not
join
going to
the
do
team.
it. I mean, he's not going to do it.
I know.
And Steph's been off for a while. Steph might not be in great shape right now. Like, Trae Young, his season didn't wrap up that long ago.
Right.
So he is going to be probably in shape. He was awesome in the playoffs. He was already on your list of guys you considered. So I would think Trae Young, if you're going to get a point guard, would absolutely be the first guy you're calling.
Okay. We talked about this maybe yesterday. If not, it was 2 days ago, about whether or not they can change around the roster. And our assumption was certainly because they haven't even gone to Tokyo yet. What happens in Tokyo if they get some positive tests? I don't know. I don't know if you can replace players. Your question is a good one about whether or not you can go off the original, 57 names. Here's the thing. To get ready for the Olympics, before these exhibition games that have been played, didn't they not have games against a select team of NBA players?
Yeah, they got those guys that are are playing, played in some of these exhibition games. They've got that group of guys. I don't know how many it is total, but
why wouldn't those players, the replacement players, come from that group?
Well, first of all, have you seen some of the names in that group?
I that's why I'm confused. Why wouldn't?
I mean, it's like, Darius Garland. They did mention Darius Garland as a possibility. He's one of those guys, but most of those guys are guys you would not be putting on our Olympic team.
But why would you have them on there to begin with? Why wouldn't you have Ja and other guys play on that team?
I don't know how they select that group of guys that kind of does the training, and I don't know if they asked Ja to do that and he said no. And I don't know. I have no idea how they put that group of guys together.
Well, Ja yesterday, and we're going to talk to Drew Hill in a few minutes, kind of went off on Twitter, and he does it in a sort of a cryptic way. But what he said about social media, I hate social media. If everything wasn't ran through it, I would delete all mine, which I think is a bunch of BS because he loves social media. I don't care what he says. he has made social media an important part of his brand,
because he
if you
understands.
will.
That's what he
Yes.
because everything's run through. Like he
Yes.
understands it. I think he's probably being very truthful in that.
And what he said 90 minutes after the news of Bradley Beal, which was, I'm paraphrasing here, basically, you didn't call me then, don't call me now. The thought, and the obvious thought was, he's referring to USA Basketball. That you didn't call me to be on the team to begin with, why call me now? Well, one, I don't think he belonged on the team to begin with. Number one. Number two, maybe now you can reach out to him. I don't know why you would say something like that, because if they reached out to you now, you should look at it as an honor. I mean, do you really truly believe that you belonged on that team to begin with? But maybe he did, and maybe he's that stern, and maybe he's that stubborn. But then again,
I don't think he's mad about not being on team. I think he is rightfully upset that he's literally not on a list of 57 guys in the NBA to be considered.
Well,
like
yes.
That's ridiculous to think Ja Morant is not on a list of 57 guys.
Yes, that is absolutely true. I buy that. But he came back. He came back, and then he said, and basically blasted people for assuming he was talking about Team USA and USA Basketball, and said it had nothing to do with it. Which I think, again, I don't know as a fact. I'm not going to sit here 100% go, yeah, this is what he meant, because I don't know what he meant. But my assumption is he was talking USA Basketball, and maybe somebody said something to him, and he realized maybe I shouldn't call out USA Basketball because maybe I'll never get a chance in the future. So he said, I wasn't referring to that. Come on. What else were you referring to?
We have no idea what was going on in Ja Morant's life yesterday.
Who takes the social media? I mean, does he take the social media to blast like a friend or a family member? I don't know. I don't think he's done that.
He just had this feud with Coach Shabazz, everything else.
That wasn't cryptic. That was obviously something that you knew.
Calling out anybody on. We have no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah,
yesterday.
but you knew who he was going after with Coach Shabazz, and Shabazz was going after him. So that was a little bit different. I mean, most people in their right mind, and I understand, believe that that's what he was talking about, was Team USA. And maybe after he put it out there and the reaction came in quickly, that he thought to himself, maybe it's better I don't rip these guys. But I would bet dollars to donuts if they reached out right now to Ja Morant and said, Ja, we need you, he'd be there. That's my guess. We'll talk to Drew Hill about that. We'll get his thoughts on Ja Morant and social media. But we'll also talk to him about the Grizzlies here in the offseason. The draft is coming up. What moves may be made? Does he believe Justice Winslow will be given that team option, that they'll pick it up for $13 million, or they'll let him walk? What are those possibilities? So Drew Hill on the other side, just underway on a Friday. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get happy with Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. Get up and go in a 2021 Kia Rio 41 MPG Highway 0% and $239 a month. 2021 Kia Forte 0% and $268 a month. And get all-weather rugged and ready in 2022 Seltos $334 a month. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get top dollar for your Kia trade today and trade up at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars. All $29.99 due at signing. Rio Forte 60 months at 0%. Rio ME 403.610. MSRP 17,315. Forte ME 379,469. MSRP 19,040. Seltos N 724 718 166 months at 1.9%. MSRP 24,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance with KMF or low APR. Excludes tax, file, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/2/2021. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. You've heard me talk about how we offer the best products, the best warranties, and the best services for years. Now let's talk about pricing. Pricing should never be the only reason you hire a contractor, but But in today's world, pricing is always a consideration. So we suggest you get 2 or 3 estimates for your roof replacement from a reputable, licensed, and insured company, and then give us a call. If we can't beat your best price for a comparable roof system by more than $100, we'll give you $100. It's that simple. We are so sure we can offer you the best price, beating all other qualified companies, we will hand you $100 if we can't, and thank you for the opportunity. So give us a call. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? Make $100? 5 Ash Roof Services, a proud supporter of Tiger Athletics and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Ash Roof Services, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Hey, listen up, Mid-South. It's time to get your new ride on at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat with the biggest Make This the Summer event you've ever seen. Check out 2021 Dodge Challenger at $389 a month. Power up in a 2021 Dodge Charger at $429 a month. And get adventure ready in a 2021 Jeep Wrangler Sport, now just $539 a month. And don't forget to check out the all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L. Never a better time to trade or buy a new Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat from Gossett. So drive past the rest and come to the best, or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Almost financed through Chrysler, 75 months at 3.99 APR, 3,500 down. Challenger MH586,606, MSRP 31,835. Charger MH602255, MSRP 33,435. Wrangler MW663938, MSRP 40,650. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
1, 2, 3.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I was working part-time in a 5 and dime. My boss was Mr. McGee.
So for a guy who tweets out, I hate social media, and then goes on to tweet out, don't mistake silence for weakness. Smart people don't plan big moves out loud. You should never be sorry for being real. Too many people getting older but not growing up. I be in my own lane, mind my own business, and talk to God a lot. On and on and on and on. He uses social media extremely well. It's helped with his brand. So I'm not going to sit there and say he's lying, but I don't believe in his heart of hearts he hates social media. But he's still a little bit upset about Team USA basketball, and here to talk about that, the Grizzlies off-season moves that could be made, is our good friend Drew Hill, Memphis Grizzlies beat writer for the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at DrewHill_DM. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Mr. Hill, how are you today? Drew? Hello? Drew, you there?
Hey, okay.
There we go.
Sorry. Phone malfunction. That's on me. Hands up.
No problem. Great to have you on. How you been?
I've been great. Yeah, I think that was a little, I think my cheekbone. Maybe I need to lose some weight. My cheekbone hit the mute button.
Well, there's one in the plus column for social media. On the phone, things can happen. Social media, you tweet it out. Well, you can get in trouble if you tweet something out you shouldn't. But, a little bit different world we live in now with the social media. And yesterday, Ja Morant was right in the middle of the firestorm. All right, there's two different things to talk about with him. One is the Team USA situation, and two is what he said about social media. So basically, you follow him. You know what was going on. He was called out after 90 minutes after the Bradley Beal news came out and basically said, don't bother me now if you didn't bother me then. I'm paraphrasing, but you didn't contact me then, don't contact me now. He was called out about it, and then he said, no, I wasn't talking about Team USA basketball. That's why I hate social media. If everything wasn't ran through it, I would delete all mine. Do you believe that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I have to, I have to take Ja on his word there. And I think if he were invited to play in the Olympics, he would certainly think about it. So maybe it's a situation of like somebody saying, hey, you better clarify there because it may, if you actually do want an invite, you probably should be very clear about that. That's not about that because the two things seem to correlate a lot. Now, remember, this is the same guy and these are totally different situations, but the same guy who went to the All-Star game in 2020, I believe, and said, I don't want to stay for the All-Star game and be a part of the All-Star festivities until I'm an All-Star.
Right.
Basically saying, if you don't think I'm good enough, then screw it, I'm out of here after the Rising Stars game thing. I think this is like somewhat of a similar situation, not exactly the same, clearly. And I don't know, like I guess I have to take him at his word, but damn, it really did seem like those two things kind of lined up. Did it not? I mean, the timing of it was just so, it would have been it's a bad coincidence, I guess, if it worked out that way. But I think Ja's the ultimate chip on his shoulder guy, and honestly, if that was the take he wanted to have, I don't think it would surprise a lot of people. I don't think it would hurt a lot of people's feelings if Ja just said, look, I'll be a member of Team USA when you see me fit to be a member of Team USA. And clearly, he felt a little bit snubbed by the fact that he wasn't even one of the 57 finalists, which to me was pretty ridiculous.
Right, we were just talking about that, yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, that doesn't even make sense, some of the names that are on that list ahead of Ja Morant.
Yeah, why is Derek White on that list ahead of Ja Morant? Come on. Because he plays for San Antonio and Greg Popovich is a coach. Why is John Wall on that list ahead of Ja Morant? You can go down the line of just guards. I'm not even talking bigs. I mean, Kevin Love obviously is not going to Tokyo anymore. That was announced this morning. But he shouldn't have been on the team or one of the 57 finalists. You can go on and on. A lot of it didn't make a lot of sense to me. And look, I'm an American, so I want Team USA to go win the gold. But it just feels like they kind of had it coming to them because it's been such a disaster that they've lost these two games. And now they're going to scramble, and I bet you they'll still go win gold just because the talent level is so high. But, watching them sort of struggle, I'm sure to some people, some players, might be a little bit satisfying.
The thing, too, that I don't understand maybe the rules of it, but, like, with the fact that we are still dealing with COVID, I don't understand, and with the fact that the NBA Finals are going as long as they are up close to the Olympics, why wouldn't they have had, like, some extra guys already chosen as, like, these are our, like, alternate guys? Like, why don't they do a 15-man roster so that you know that if something happens, you've got a couple of replacements ready to go?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me either. And maybe they had an idea of those guys, but it's doubly as challenging because you've got a lot of people who have declined already and said no thanks, because this is going to be a situation that's so similar to the bubble. And so when you combine all those things together and you really look at the big picture, even if you lined up alternates, who's to say that they wouldn't have a COVID complication or that they wouldn't decline at the last second? I am shocked to see that we haven't heard anything on the Drew Holiday or Devin Booker front, both who made the team, and both are still playing right now in the NBA Finals. And if this thing goes to 7 games, Game 7 would be on the 22nd of July. Well, Team USA's first game is on July 25th. So you're telling me the next day they're going to get on a flight to Tokyo, they're going to be jet lagged by the time they get there, and then turn around and play a game in 2 days? That just seems crazy to me, and especially after one of them just lost the NBA Finals.
Exactly.
Like the low.
You got Chris Middleton, too. I mean, you got Chris
Middleton's on that team, too.
Guys that are in that.
Yeah, Chris Middleton. I didn't even point that out. Yeah, that's true.
So you got. What if all three of them if it goes 7 games? What if all three of them in the day?
Say we're burned out.
Say no, we're not. Right. I mean, it's just it's too much. We're not going. Like now, you're like you have nobody over there.
It's almost insane, and that's relevant to the Ja Morant thing, because if you don't have Booker or Drew Holiday, you're losing 2 guards, right? So, like, you got to think about positioning here a little bit. I think Trae Young would probably be the first pick at point guard.
He should
just
be.
because of what he accomplished in the playoffs this year ahead of Ja. And Trae, based on his tweet, looks like he wants to go. So, maybe he would get selected over Ja. But I wrote yesterday, if they decided to just say we're going to make Ja Morant a replacement player and he's going to play on Team USA, and Ja wanted to do it, that's the big caveat here. There's no telling if Ja would actually accept or not.
Mm-hmm.
But if Ja decides that he wants to do it, I'm not going to pretend to know what he's thinking. Then I don't think anybody would have any sort of quibble. Like, people wouldn't be up in arms. Oh my gosh, why did Ja Morant get invited? I mean, he's one of the best young players in the NBA. So I said, why not? I mean, if you're having trouble getting people to commit to doing it and Ja wants to do it, why not invite him? I think he'd be a good addition to the team. I think he might make the team better to have him on the team.
Look, with the Beal news yesterday, Love this morning, Jeremy Grant is in health and safety protocol. We know 2 guys have to be replaced. If they're not on the phones already, what are they waiting for? This needs to happen now. They need to have these replacements in ready to go. They have the exhibition game that's canceled tonight. There's one more on the schedule. And like you said, Drew, you turn around and all of a sudden, boom, the games are there. And they have their own issues in Tokyo. But for the 3 guys that are still playing, if it goes 7, the timing's not right. I could easily see if Phoenix, well, either way, win or lose, Booker's saying I'm just burned out, and the same deal with the Holiday and Middleton. So you better have guys right now on the phone. And I would be shocked if it's not Trae Young. It doesn't make sense not to have him. And Ja Morant would be fantastic. But you guys are absolutely right. Not to be on the original 57 is a crime, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was crazy. He's easily one of the 57 best players. And he's probably a top 6 or 7 point guard in the league. So that alone should at least, get you an invite to training camp or to tryouts.
Well, and the thing that, yes, 57. And the thing is, 57 is a random number anyway. So, why didn't you just make it 60? This always cracks me up that they had these 57 guys that because he was originally on a list of 60, and then they went down to 57 as finalists. Why'd you even need to narrow it down by 3 guys for your finalists?
I think it's time for new blood. Colangelo's been running that show for a long, long time. Look, Pop is one of the greatest coaches ever, but I think it's time for new blood. Get some younger guys in there running the show. I'm not saying it's all on them. It's certainly not. You had a lot of players, as you said, Drew, deciding to opt out or not even be considered, said, take me out of the running. So there's a lot of great players that aren't there, but it's still the greatest players in the world, many of them from this country that'll represent Team USA. And as you said, I still believe when push comes to shove, they're gonna win the gold medal. But just to lose these exhibition games, the discombobulation that's going on right now, it's ridiculous. That's why I think.
And why not Mike Conley? Mike Conley's never he hasn't had the chance to do it. If he's healthy,
it's a good name.
Why not
if
Mike
he's
Conley?
healthy.
That's the question, if he's healthy. Because that's the other thing. I was surprised Kevin Durant's on the team. After a shortened year where everything was condensed, he was coming off the major injury. I was surprised to hear that he was going to play for Team USA. It's a good thing he's playing for Team USA because we need him. But I was a little surprised with that, too. So, look, either way, if Ja is asked and decides to be on the team, that would be unbelievable for him and for the Grizzlies and for us here in Memphis. If not, he's going to use it as another chip on his shoulder to motivate him even more. So
to me,
I think we're in good shape with Ja Morant for the future.
To me, with the 2 guys they're replacing now, and now, again, there might be more later, but to me it's pretty simple. It would be now in making sure they're in shape. Trae Young and Zion. If Zion's in shape.
See, I wonder.
Zion might have been doing a lot of eating and not much working out since the season ended. But to me, you get Trae Young and Zion, and you've replaced the big and Kevin Love. You replace the point. You get another point guard in there, and you're good to go.
It makes sense, but I wonder if I just have the feeling Zion was asked and decided to not be a part of it. But I could be wrong about that. All right, let's move on from USA basketball and Ja Morant to this offseason for the Grizzlies, which we got the draft coming up, as you know, Drew, in a couple of weeks, 13 days, I think it is. Summer League and then free agency and things of that nature. There's still decisions that have to be made. As far as the draft is concerned, and the Grizzlies front office has done a remarkable job in being able to pinpoint the player they want and make sure they're in position to draft that player. They've done a great job. So I don't know what's going on in their minds for number 17. But is there anybody that you like that you think will be available to them at 17?
Oh, there's several players that I like at 17. I could go down a list. I was the first proponent for Trey Murphy from Virginia.
I like him.
6'9" wing. I really like him. I think he's got a good chance to be a good role player. Maybe he doesn't have that star potential some other guys have. That's also the knock on Moses Moody from Arkansas, who I also really like. There are concerns about the consistency of his shooting, and if the shooting isn't there, then that really hurts him as a prospect. But if he works out, I really like him. If you want to take a swing and try and get a player who will be awesome on defense but doesn't fit the team at all, you could go for a guy like Usman Garuba from Real Madrid, who's been really productive already at a really young age in the second best league behind the NBA.
And they've done well with Spanish players.
Yeah, they've done well with Spanish players, and I think Jaden Springer from Tennessee has some potential. I know he's a little bit more controversial, but I like him. I think the Grizzlies have done their homework on him as well. And so there's several names out there that I do really like. But I would not be surprised at all if you see him move either upwards or backwards. And it's kind of rare that they're in this spot where they could go either direction pretty reasonably. And it would make a lot of sense either way. At 17, if there's a guy you like a Trey Murphy, and you think you can slide back a few spots and still get him, by all means. Why wouldn't the Grizzlies stack some more draft assets that'll help them in the future potentially make a move to go get a star? So I could totally see them moving back in this draft. I think that would make a ton of sense, and it'd be hard to criticize that.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
I could also see him moving up simply on, based on the fact that they've already got assets, and if there's a player they really like and they have conviction, and they really feel like he can be one of the core pieces to a championship team, why not make the move now? You've got assets to go do it. You've got other picks right now that you're sitting on that could turn out to be, either good picks or bad picks, depending on how the Jazz and the Warriors do. So I think that there's a lot of potential for the Grizzlies to move. And if I were betting, I almost would bet that they move more than they pick at 17. But there's plenty of guys at 17 that I do like.
Well, with Murphy, the fact that he's shot 43% from 3-point range, I like seeing those numbers. Anybody that they draft there, I want to see somebody that could certainly shoot. The big, I guess, kind of decision that has to be made also is the Justice Winslow decision. What do you expect them to do there?
I don't think they'll bring him back at $13 million this year. It's just expensive. I feel like there's other ways to keep him on the team. Maybe you can restructure a different type of deal and keep him here. I think the team likes him. Like, he's a generally liked teammate. And I do think that they probably believe. I was thinking about this the other day. We are really quick to give Jaren some slack and say he was hurt, he's been out, so he's rusty, and we think that the future of Jaren Jackson Jr. is better than what you saw at the end of the year last year. But we did the exact opposite with Justice Winslow, did we not? I mean, everybody sort of just said he's not good. You can't play him at the end of the year. He's not good, without really considering or giving him the same treatment as a guy like Jaren, where everybody said, well, we've seen Jaren be great, and he needs to get back to that point. Well, Justice has been better than what he was last year. That's for sure. So I buy it when the front office, when Zach Kleiman said at the end of the year, he still believes that Justice Winslow can be a good player. But I think based on the production, it just doesn't make sense to bring him back at $13 million a year. It's interesting. Jaren and Justice became really close last summer.
They're working out together, right?
Their injuries. They're still working out together. This year they're out in L.A. working out together. Again, they're working out with Tyrese Maxey and Miles Bridges and DeLon Wright and a couple other players all in the same gym out in L.A. This offseason. But I wonder if you're trying to keep the team happy long term, and Jaren and Justice are really close, and Jaren is considered to be a part of the future. Does any of that matter? Like, does it matter when you're trying to keep your young talent in Memphis long term, to just keep them happy and keep, the players on the team that they want on the team. I'm not saying that Jaren has said anything like that, but it's pretty clear that they're close friends. So to me, that's in question. But $13 million a year, or $13 million for next year, I should say, is just too expensive. It's just too expensive, I feel like, for a guy like Justice Winslow.
And just a quick reaction to what you said earlier about Winslow. It's easy to criticize when they weren't even playing him. Jenkins wasn't even playing him at the end of the season. So it's easy to go, oh, he's not good. They're not even playing him. They have no confidence in him. But it looks like they just basically shut him down, and let's see what happens for next year. So I think your point's well taken. I think there's something left. I think there's something there. We obviously didn't see it. But for $13 million, I'd rather go in a different direction. You can get this guy a little bit cheaper, then maybe they do that. And you're right. They're working out together. Maybe there's something to it. As far as Jaren Jackson Jr. is concerned, do you expect this offseason for something to happen with an extension?
It's hard to tell. I don't want to jump out and say for sure that they'll get a deal done, but I think they would be smart to get a deal done just because it will keep Jaren here. And I think long term, you're probably not going to sign a player like Jaren in free agency, and you're not going to be able to draft a player at number 4 for a while now that you've got Ja Morant on your team. So it just only makes sense to re-sign him and keep him happy. Is he a max player? I don't know. It's really hard to tell based on what you've seen, only because of the injuries that have held him back. That's going to be a really tough decision on the front office to decide. But if I were Jaren, I'd be pushing for that max deal, and I'm sure he's probably not going to take anything except that max deal. If they can get a deal done that's not that number, that'd be really good from the front office. But to me, it's just, I just don't know which direction you're going to go if it's not with Jaren Jackson Jr. So you might as well just get the deal done and do it this summer. But to say I expected to get it done, I don't know. I don't know if I have any real insight on that. I don't want to make any predictions there.
Mm-hmm. He is Drew Hill, Memphis Grizzlies beat writer for the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at DrewHill_DM. As always, Drew, thank you so much for your time. We'll talk to you down the line.
Yep, thanks, Greg.
Appreciate it. All right. Yeah,
see, I disagree on that. I don't think $13 million is too. I would, if it was me, I would pick up the option. Only being committed to him for one more year. I would take one more year to look at Justice Winslow. That would be me. I'm not going to be surprised either way they do it. If it was me, I would take one more year to take a look at it. But I don't think $13 million is too much to do that.
I don't think it's going to be one of those situations where if they pick up his option for $13 million, I'm going to sit here and criticize it. It's one of those things, though, I think they could probably get him for a little bit cheaper, like Drew said. As far as Jaren Jackson Jr. is concerned, we talked about it already.
But if you're getting him cheaper, you're going to have to do it for multiple years. I'd rather only be committed to him for 1 year. You're not going to sign a 1-year deal for cheaper.
You wouldn't sign one for 9?
He's not going to do that. That would be dumb.
Okay. And then the Jaren Jackson Jr. thing we've already addressed. I think we're both in agreement. You don't sign him to the extension in the offseason. You have to wait and see. See what he's doing on the court. Physically, how does he look? Does he have his game back that we saw before he got hurt? And then make that decision. That's something we talked about on the program earlier in the week. We need to take a timeout. You're listening to Sports 56 Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy take you home with Sports Time on Sports 56, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claims specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Start your engines, Mid-South. Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike is ready for the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event. Get plenty of pulling power and more standard features than Mazda CX-5 and Ford Escape in your new 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. And hit the road in a 7-passenger 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett at $259 a month. All powered by our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So don't miss the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, 750 loyalty rebate, 48 months, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Outlander NZO 166.72, MSRP 29,480. Cross NC 003186, MSRP 27,725. Includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Like a coin in your mint, I am tempted.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Take me to the pilot for control. Take me to the pilot of your soul.
Big thanks to Drew Hill for joining us on the program. Coming up at 11:05, Mr. College Football Tony Barnhart, who, by the way, will be the leadoff guest for the Touchdown Club this year, as he always is. August 30th will make an appearance here in Memphis at the Open Championship. I think I hitched my wagon to the wrong young gun, Eli. Instead of Hovland, I should have picked Morikawa. Colin Morikawa, 6 under 64 today. He's your clubhouse leader. 9 under par at the Open Championship. Still a long way to go today in round 2. One of your picks, Jordan Spieth, 7 under. One of my picks, Louis Oosthuizen, 7 under. So both 2 shots off the pace. Paul Casey's now at 5 under. Tony Finau at 4 under among the names that are near the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, there's some angry golfers over there, too.
Why? What's going on?
We had some club breakages going on today.
Was it DeChambeau?
No. He didn't break any clubs.
He did apologize, though.
Well, yes, he apologized.
To the Cobra rep?
When your sponsor comes out and talks about you saying stupid things and talking about how you've never been happy, you're going to apologize. They're your sponsor. It didn't take him long to realize, well, I probably shouldn't have said that. That's probably not a smart thing to say about one of my sponsors.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Make your sponsors happy. Don't piss them off, because there's a lot of people out there buying that product. You're just one dude. You happen to be the biggest name more than likely. But if you are bad-mouthing the product, then how are they selling that to Joe Q Public? That's an issue.
Terrell Hatton flipped off somebody in the crowd, then broke an iron.
Yeah, but that's to be expected with Terrell Hatton.
Mark Leishman broke his putter, had to putt with his wedge. It actually putted better with his wedge. for the rest of the day. So it's been there's some angry guys, the angry people out in the golf world. But Terrell Hatton he loves breaking and throwing clubs.
He is a fiery guy.
One of his things, and he just absolutely destroyed a club today. A couple of texts here at 901-360-8255, our text line. Raider Corey says, guys, I'll say this again, but I'm sorry if people object. Why aren't we as a nation taking this pandemic seriously? What is it going to take? People have died from the virus. It's not political, even though people have made it political. Stop being ignorant, please, so the rest of us can move on with our lives. Also on Ja says, I love Ja, but he needs to tone it down a bit. I love his passion and confidence, but it's not wise to alienate his peers. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with both texts there from Corey.
Ron texts in. He says, you think ball players would get the vaccine knowing it could affect their team?
Right.
Yes.
Do it for your teammates.
You would think. You would think that, like, and now the Yankees are one of the teams in baseball that actually is over the 85% threshold. They're one of the few in baseball that has gotten there, and obviously they had the outbreak yesterday that caused the problem, and they've had a couple of outbreaks this year. Some of those are vaccinated guys, but
do you think it could have come from one of the Yankees that was participating in the All-Star game? Aaron Judge, we know, was there in Colorado and got it from somebody else and then came back to New York for I don't know if the series is in New York or Boston, but
well, theoretically, but I mean,
contracted
they were tested
in
at the All-Star
Denver.
game, and he's the only one that's tested positive that was there. So, I mean,
out of all the players,
yeah, they all tested negative at the All-Star game, and he's the one that's tested positive since the All-Star game.
Right, but it doesn't mean that today there can't be one that tests positive or tomorrow that tests positive. I mean, it's a weird virus that you don't know. While you're playing the game, while you're being tested in Denver, you could be fine and turn around 4 days later and you test positive. We got a Facebook text from John. He said, have you guys all commented on the Richard Sherman incident yet? Players get in so much trouble during the offseason. Yeah, we talked a lot about it yesterday on the program. Of course, Sherman is a free agent right now, so he's with no team. But he went in front of the judge. He's going to go in front of the judge again today. But he went in front of the judge yesterday. Now, he was released. Remember, he was arrested, but he was released without having to post bond. Doesn't face any felony charges. One count of misdemeanor criminal trespassing with a domestic violence designation, malicious mischief, DUI, and resisting arrest. So that all adds up to a misdemeanor, not a felony. And again, he'll go in front of the judge again today. There was, I think, a Pro Football Talk tweet that said he could be signed by a team and then the NFL could put him on a paid, what is it called? Not paid leave, but basically penalize him from being able to participate with the team, yet get paid still.
Suspension.
Would it be, okay, just a league suspension.
I don't know.
I guess
it sounds like you're describing.
Well, I am describing it, but they didn't. Yeah,
paid to do it.
They didn't call it a suspension. They didn't call it a suspension, though. They called it something else. But it's exactly what a suspension would be. I was just trying to remember the other name.
Listen, it maybe could have been a lot worse. Thankfully, it was not. But in the end, I mean, Richard Sherman got really hammered, made some bad decisions. Nobody got hurt out of it. Like, move along.
Hey, that poor car got hurt.
I mean,
don't you have any feelings for the car?
It could have been a lot worse. I mean, he's driving hammered, obviously.
Mm-hmm. And threatened his in-laws and try to break into their house?
He got really drunk, had a bit of a breakdown, and luckily nobody was hurt. So I don't. Certainly the DUI is something that he will, I'm sure, have to pay for. But the other stuff, he was pounding on a door really hard because he was hammered, and I guess who knows what he was really in his head, what he was trying to do.
What happened to Chad Kelly when he ended up drunk and he was hammering the door? It was the wrong place.
He went into the wrong place.
Did he get? Was it a misdemeanor? Was it a felony for breaking and entering?
I don't.
I was curious when I heard the pounding of the door of the in-laws. I was thinking of Chad Kelly, and I wonder what he got hit with when he did get hit with the charge. I'm not sure if that was just a misdemeanor or if that was a felony for breaking and entering. When we come back, hour 2 of the program, we'll kick things off with Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981, 0.9% MSRP, $20,685. Sportage in 79.79, 540, 0% MSRP, $26,060. K5 NGO 950.54, 0.9% MSRP, $25,840. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
The way things are going these days, do you ever ask yourself, when is the other shoe going to drop? The warning signs are everywhere. The next big danger is food shortages. That's why Americans are learning to be self-reliant and getting their emergency long-term food storage from My Patriot Supply. We're America's trusted leader in emergency preparedness. Over the past decade, My Patriot Supply has served millions of families and helped them prepare. Our delicious meal kits average 2,000 calories per day and stay fresh in storage up to 25 years. This is reliable food that will be there when disasters strike. And with the way things are going, you should grab some now. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com, order a starter kit for each member of your family, and we'll ship everything quickly and discreetly to your door. Don't wait and scramble with the masses when the news breaks. Instead, prepare today for what's coming. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. That's MyPatriotSupply.com.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
College football season is approaching quickly, and that means it's time for SEC Media Days. Brett Northworthy is broadcasting live from Hoover, Alabama, Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming season and bringing you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC insiders. So tune into Sports Time with Wolo and Stats and throughout the rest of the day for SEC Media Days coverage on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. It's brought to you by Jason's Deli, the Memphis Tourism Sports Council, Ronnie Grisantes, and the Commissary in Germantown and Collierville.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We welcome you back to Sports 56 Middays, 11:03 the time, hour number 2 here on the program. It's the Friday, July 16th, 2021 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Gabe Kuhn. We're in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Second hour of the program is brought to you each and every day by James Gaddis Jewelers. And every Monday and Friday, They bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know that friend of the show, Doug Barron, is currently 21st on the Charles Schwab Cup money list with earnings this season of $915,351. Good for Doug Barron right now at number 21 and looking to move on up on the Champions Tour. James Gaddis Jewelers, they're located at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They're your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for nearly a quarter century at that same East Memphis location. You can call them at 901-767-9648. James is a master jeweler, certified appraiser, diamondologist, and graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. They are full-service jewelers with 2 bench jewelers ready to serve you. Layaway and financing available at James Gaddis Jewelers. Check them out at 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. By the way, Chad Kelly was facing a first-degree criminal trespassing charge, which would have been a felony.
First degree is a felony. He ended up pleading guilty to second degree,
which is a misdemeanor.
Which is a misdemeanor.
Okay, so there you go. That was the situation with Chad Kelly. As promised, it's time to talk to one of the best college football minds out there. He is Tony Barnhart. He will be in Memphis once again to kick off the Touchdown Club, as he always does, August 30th. So get your tickets today to listen to Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, writer, broadcaster for the SEC Network, and columnist for TMGCollegeSports.com. He's also doing some radio and TV. He's all over the place, and next week he'll be at SEC Media Days. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. CFB. Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, joining us again here on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Tony, how are you?
We're doing great. We're looking forward to being back in Memphis. Had to miss it last year because of the nasty COVID, but we're looking forward to being back and seeing all our friends in Memphis.
It's always a great way to start the season, but I always think that SEC Media Days, in my opinion, is kind of the kickoff to the college football season. I know we're a few weeks away still from camps opening up, but you start to get into that mood, and I want to discuss that with you, kind of get a primer for what to expect next week. But before we do that, Tony, I wanted to get your thoughts on what NCAA President Mark Emmert had to say yesterday, saying that the time is right to consider a decentralized and deregulated version of college sports, shifting powers to the conferences and the campuses. Something that I've always thought. I never thought I'd hear that from the mouth of Mark Emmert. What do you think that all means?
Can you say throwing up the white flag? Because that's what he did. Look, when you get slam dunked 9-0 by the Supreme Court, they sent a not so subtle message, even though that didn't necessarily deal with NIL or athletes compensation. The Supreme Court has basically told you your business model violates antitrust law, and that's what Justice Kavanaugh wrote specifically. The NCAA is not above the law. And if you keep doing what you're doing, you're acting like you're above the law. So this is something that has been long in coming. We've long said that college football needs to have its own governing body. The highest level of college football needs to have its own governing body. They shouldn't be under the same umbrella. Now it's very significant that Dr. Emmert said these things. Now, getting it done is going to take a lot of work and a long time, but the process started yesterday.
Why has he been able to keep his job, by the way?
Well, I think one of the reasons is from a president, college presidents are probably the most risk-averse people in the world. You know, it's about moving on to the next thing and raising the money and doing what we got to do. I think from their perspective, they thought Mark Emmert was doing a good job. Now, from our perspective, we didn't look at it that way. I think now people says, why did Mark Emmert get a contract extension? I think we got our answer. I think the answer is they know that this transition was coming, and let him ride out the rough seas of the transition and where he is. And then when you get it figured out, then bring in somebody to run it. But again, I don't know if we're going to have an NCAA president after we get through doing this. I think you'll have an organization that puts on championships, because that is one thing they do well.
Right.
But our whole thinking of college athletics is going to change. What it's going to change into, I'm not sure, but I think somebody said deregulate, decentralize. I think that's kind of what you're talking about. Whatever the number of NCAA schools should not be under the same umbrella because they ain't playing the same game, and we need to recognize that.
We hit July 1st and the NIL, and I think reluctantly the NCAA and Mark Emmert, throw up their arms and said, you know what, just schools, go ahead and do what you want, even though a lot of the states had already passed regulation. Are we going to get some sort of centralized, whether it comes from the Congress or whatever, ruling on NIL, or do you think it's going to continue with schools just being able to do what they want to do?
Well, I think in the short term, they're going to do what they want to do. Eventually, there's going to have to be a central set of principles. But you know what? We may not get that. We may not get that until we get this new structure put into place because I don't see how you can if you don't know what kind of structure. But look, I told somebody the other day, I spoke to a group about a week ago. I said, look, this thing, at a minimum, NIL is going to be 2 or 3 years sorting itself out. It's going to be the wild, wild west until then. And you know what? We're just going to have to live with it.
Right.
Because you can't people say we need guardrails in place, but every guardrail you put in place is a potential lawsuit. And I think Bob Bowlesby of the Big 12 said yesterday, look, we just put that stuff in place trying not to get sued. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So I think we'll eventually have a set of general principles, but it ain't going to be anytime soon.
Have you been surprised at all? What do you think so far of what we've seen? There hasn't been a ton of these things, but as the season gets closer, I'm sure we'll get more. Of course, we have situations like you got at Miami where the guys giving every scholarship player some money. What have you thought so far of what we've seen from name, image, likeness, and the deals that have been made?
Well, I spoke to a lot of people before July 1st saying, hey, and I asked them the same thing. What's going to happen on July 1st? And you can't imagine all the different answers I got. What I've seen so far is pretty much predictable. There are going to be people who get into this marketplace for talking about brands and people creating opportunities because they want the exposure. But over the long haul, are they going to stick with it? Like the guy in Miami, he wants to give $500 to every player at Miami. That's not going to work. Now they'll have to restructure. You can do it, but you got to restructure it in such a way. So my point is we're going to be all over the map on this thing, and there are going to be opportunities that people take advantage of that we couldn't even conceive of a month ago. That's why I'm saying everybody's just going to have to buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride.
The other topic here that certainly came up in the last month or two that's important before we dive into the SEC Media Days next week is the expansion of the playoff to 12 teams more than likely. So it looks like that's going to happen, Tony, but when do you think it will happen?
Well, that's the issue. Whether it will happen, it's not a question of if, but when. When can you put because people have to remember that it isn't the contract that puts the college football playoff is not just a contract between the CFP and ESPN. It's a contract between CNN, CFP, ESPN, Rose Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Peach Bowl. All these have interlocking contracts because those 6 bowls host the semifinal on a rotating basis. They've got to sign on this. I mean, I gave somebody the example. Hey, the Rose Bowl's got a contract right now that keeps them on January 1st at 5:00 for the next 5 years. Are you going to talk the Rose Bowl into changing and to do this? It's going to be a lot of work. So it's either going to happen after the end of the 2023 regular season or at the end of the 2025 regular season. I'm not. I know everybody would like to see it sooner. I'm not convinced yet that they can get it done by then. But that's when it's going to happen. But it will happen.
With the way that they have proposed it be set up, with the fact that the group of 5 schools will be guaranteed a spot in there from a conference champion. What do you think it means? Like, what will be the effect of that? How much more money could we be talking about? Does it have a big impact on the group of 5 schools having a spot in the playoff?
Well, it will, because they'll get to share in the revenue that's generated. Now, how much revenue they get is to be determined. But there will. I would assume, like a lot of things, if you get into the playoff, your conference is going to get a share. Okay, a predetermined share of the revenue. And look, if we had this thing in place last year, guess what? Both Cincinnati and Coastal Carolina would have gotten in. 2 teams from the group of 5 would have gotten in because they were in the final top 12. So we're on the money right now. ESPN pays about $470 million for the 3 college football playoff games. The figures I have seen, once we go to 11 games, in other words, 12 teams, 11 games, you're talking about $1.3 billion with a B, something in there. Basically triple the amount of money that they're making now.
The rich get richer. Tony Barnhart joining us, writer, broadcaster for the SEC Network, and columnist for TMGCollegeSports.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. College Football. It's MRCFB. And again, he'll be at the Touchdown Club, the opening guest, as he normally is, to kick off the array of great guests that'll be on hand for the Touchdown Club of Memphis. And that'll be August 30th. So go ahead and get your tickets now. Of course, next week, it's back to Hoover, SEC Media Days, no virtual this, no virtual that. It's going to be fantastic for everyone. I know there's still going to be limitations and not the amount of stations on Radio Row and things of that nature, but just to be able to converse basically in person, Tony, I'm sure you feel good about that.
Well, I do. I tell you what, I missed the travel last year. I missed seeing people and doing things in person. It is going to be an interesting time. They're cutting back on normally we have about 1,000 media people when you put it all together.
Right.
Don't think we'll have that. I think they're going to cut that by a third and do some other things. But yeah, it'll be great. I've seen tweets today about how great it was at the Big 12 Media Days this week in Dallas. And so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And we got a bunch of great storylines in this league this year. It will be a lot of fun.
What are the kind of a few of the storylines that you're most interested in maybe getting more information on next week?
Well, logically, Alabama should not be able to come in and dominate the way that they have and the way that they did last year. One of the greatest offenses you're ever going to see. But you sit there and look at it and you go, okay, so who's going to beat them? Right? They may not be as good, but tell me who on that schedule is going to beat them. Now they got to go to Texas A&M October 9th. That's a date you need to circle on the calendar. That's a game you need to look at because I think Texas A&M, even though they've got a new quarterback, their recruiting has gone very well the last 3 years, and so I think that's one. Is this finally, in capital letters, is this finally the year for Georgia? All right. It's been 40 years since Georgia won a national championship with Herschel Walker.
Jeez.
They've come close. They've come really close. They were down to a 2nd and 26 in 2017 when Tua Tagovailoa said, "Hello, world." Boom, touchdown. Georgia's been in the hunt. Is this going to finally be the year? You got 4 new coaches: Tennessee, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Auburn. What's that going to be like? Who has a chance to be good among them? And what about Florida? Is Florida going to take a step back? They had a shaky finish. They got a new quarterback. They got a defense that wasn't very good last year, 31 points a game. Mm-hmm. So there are a ton of great storylines at this SEC Media Days.
Eli and I, we were talking yesterday on the show about you have Mike Leach and you have guys that weren't there, Lane Kiffin, Sam Pittman, because we didn't have it last year. We didn't have it as we know it. And then we have 4 new first-year coaches. And I said every year, and we're down there, and we'll be down there again, and you listen to some of the questions and you roll your eyes going, what are they asking these dumb questions? Talk football. I want to know about football. But when it comes to Mike Leach, I think everything is on the table. So Tony Barnhart, if you had one thing you wanted to talk to Mike Leach about or ask him that had nothing to do with his football team, what would it be?
Well, what are the best places to eat in Key West? That's what I want to know.
And you were just there, Eli, weren't you? You were just in Key West.
I wasn't in Key West.
What are the best places? You know, what are hangouts? Best bars in Key West? That's what are the great all-time Mike Leach, because the guys who covered him on a regular basis and other stops said, look, you got to get somebody to throw an off-the-wall question, because he will take that off-the-wall question and do a 10-minute monologue. Like the guy who told me, he asked him about, he said, Coach Leach, I'm getting ready to get married in about 2 weeks. Do you have any advice for me? He says, man, do I have advice for you. Let me tell you. And he goes on and says, first of all, the first thing you got to understand is that the wedding is not about you and your future wife. The wedding is about the mother of the wife. Okay, you understand? You got to make her happy. Okay, and understand when they ask your opinion about something, they really don't want your opinion. They really want you to agree with what they've already done. So you have you're the groom. You have very little to do with the process. Okay, so you just show up and make sure everybody gets to the church on time, and then you're done. So.
That is hilarious.
He did like 10 minutes on what it was like to be the groom in a wedding. So.
He is a rare breed. There's no doubt. Ed Orgeron's a rare breed in another way, too. How do you think it's going to go down with Orgeron, and how much questions he's going to get about the issues that they have had down at LSU?
Yeah.
And how does he handle those?
Haven't they squashed that already? Said you can't ask any questions about that?
Well, sure, they can say anything they want. No, because I understand what the rules of the road are. The rules of the road is that we're letting you. They're talking to us, the media, just letting you know he's not going to answer these questions. Totally understand, totally respect it, but I'm still going to ask the question.
Right?
They get to decide what the coach is going to say. They don't get to decide what questions are going to be asked.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, rarely do you ever get anything good that's worth looking at in those kind of situations, because everybody's lawyered up. All right,
Yeah.
and the lawyers have said, I don't care what question you get asked, you are not going to talk about this because you're representing our university, and I'm the lawyer for the university, and you don't say anything. So you're not going to get. Ed Orgeron's problem is that his football team they were lucky to finish 5-5 last year, and Orgeron had to completely redo his coaching staff because Bo Pelini hadn't gotten out of that man-to-man defense yet, and so that's where, because the other situation is a long-term investigative legal process, and you're not going to get that solved on SEC media days. But the football side of this thing is an issue because I have people tell me they're going to bounce back, but I don't. They got to prove it to me. I mean, I've got them as third in the SEC West behind Alabama and Texas A&M, and I don't know that they can improve on that.
Final question for you, Tony. Speaking of questions, Nick Saban, what's the most important question he needs to be asked?
Is your defense going to improve over last year? I just looked this up, guys. I just sent it to somebody. Alabama led the SEC in scoring defense last year, and they gave up 19.8 points per game. Led the SEC at 19.8 points per game. 10 years ago in their national championship team of 2011, they led the SEC in scoring defense at 8.2 points per game.
Wow.
So what does that tell us? That tells us the game in the SEC has changed.
Right.
Because everybody in the league gave up 19 or more points per game. That was unheard of 10 years ago.
There's no doubt. It is the offenses are ruling the day. And Nick Saban knows that. He changed his offense. Like he understands. Yes. You got to put up a bunch of points.
Camp's opening up in a couple of weeks, but next week, again, my unofficial start. Maybe others think the same way to the college football season. SEC Media Days, of course. Mr. College Football will be there. Sports 56 will be there as well. And Tony will be here on August 30th in Memphis as he will be the guest speaker of the Touchdown Club. It's always great to hear Tony and always great to see him here in Memphis. So get your tickets now. Writer, broadcaster for the SEC Network and columnist for TMGCollegesports.com. He is Tony Barnhart. on Twitter at Mr. CFB. Tony, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Have a great week next week.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Take care. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing with many different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. And remember, they'll work with your insurance company. They'll work out of pocket, whatever it takes. Your insurance company can't tell you what company you have to use. It is your choice. Pinnacle does residential and commercial roofing. So business owners and property managers, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. They do work around the home. If you can't do it yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up shingles and fencing, siding, rotten wood repair. Quality work at a very good price. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, locally owned and operated, started from scratch by Brandon. He is a terrific guy, and he has a team of professionals that will take care of your roof, take care of your home. Call them at 901-438-5084. That's 901-438-5084, or online at newroofmemphis.com. Tom Brady did something magnificent last year, and it wasn't just winning a Super Bowl. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing's not always right to replace your air conditioning system. That's why we have financing options available. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system for as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems for as low as $99 per month. Now you could do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty and a free Nest thermostat. And you know, with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So after a year hiatus, as we talked about, SEC Media Days is back. Not quite in full force, but just about. And Sports 56 will be back next week. Brett Stats Norsworthy will be there representing Sports Time on Sports 56, but we'll have Brett on every day, Monday through Thursday at 11:30. We'll also have other guests as well. Of course, they will have wall-to-wall coverage and other shows. So keep it right here for SEC Media Days. Brought to you by All-Star Chevrolet and Olive Branch, Belly Acres, Golf Sticks Pretzels, Jason's Deli, Memphis Tourism Sports Council, Mossy Oak Golf Club, Ronnie Grizzani's, and the Commissary in Germantown and Collierville. Big thank you to all our great sponsors.
All right, so I was talking to Gabe about this during the break. Have you seen the story about the Jeff Bezos space mission?
Sort of. I saw that there's some kid going to go on the...
Yes.
Okay.
But you know why that this kid now is going?
No, I don't.
Okay. And I cannot comprehend this. I did actually watch the Richard Branson mission thing the other day.
So
It's pretty cool.
How far did he go? Like, how high did he go?
I don't remember how far. I don't remember how many miles it was that they go up. But that was a pretty cool looking little thing that they were in. Like I watched a little bit of it. I watched most of the landing and stuff because that's got to be a little weird. But it's cool. Like, I mean,
by the way,
rich guys spending money on taking people to space. Okay,
how big must your cojones be? And for women, just have that courage to go up and do something like that, to be an astronaut, to go into space, to be on the space station, to want to go to the moon.
Would you not do it?
No way.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
No way in hell would I do it. No way
absolutely.
in hell.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
You would do that in a heartbeat?
Yes. But
really?
Although I don't have the money because so Jeff Bezos had to pick this 18-year-old because somebody else, and they are not saying who it was, who paid $28 million to go, has a scheduling conflict. Can't go.
Are they getting their money back? Are there no refunds?
No, I don't know if they ever get to go on the next one or not. But I just don't.
Dude's out $28 million.
What can possibly come up in your life? If you've got $28 million to spend to go to space, you have the ability to clear your schedule of anything in the world. Like there's just nothing that can come up on that person's schedule that you can't go to space that you spent $28 million to do.
He had to take his daughter to soccer practice. You got to prioritize family, Eli.
I got to go to the doctor. My doctor can't change my appointment for me.
Has a date with a Kardashian. Come on, you can't give that up.
I know. That amazes me. I absolutely believe it's somebody that just decided they weren't as brave as they thought they were, and they came up with scheduling conflict as the reason. There's no way if you pay $28 million to do something, you have a scheduling conflict. There's nothing that can come up.
All right, how does that lead to the
$28 million.
How does that lead to the kid here?
Well, Bezos had to just pick somebody. He picked this guy to replace that. I don't know how he picked this kid or whatever, but there was an open seat, so he picked this 18-year-old to go up.
And so 18, I guess you're legal, so you don't need the parents' permission? Because I can imagine the parents going, yeah, you know what? The kid doesn't clean his room. Let him go up there and keep him there while he's up there. That's weird. The whole thing's weird. So when is the Bezos spaceship going up?
I don't know.
Rocket.
I don't know if is it this week. I don't know if it's this. I don't know for sure when he's going.
Oh gosh,
but he's charging a lot more than Branson charged. I don't know if there's any different. I don't know what the differences are, but I know
he needs the money. Bezos
he's charging a lot more, from what I understood when they were talking about it last week during the Branson mission.
He lost half his money right in the divorce.
Yeah, well, half of whatever billions he's got is still a lot of billion.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Speaking of,
but I don't like $28 million to charging for. I mean, I guess if it's the first one, maybe, but $28 million. Seems like there's better things to spend $28 million on in this world.
Yes, so somebody commits $28 million to go on this mission, can't do it because of a scheduling conflict. This kid gets picked and he's going free, like he's comped. It's that $28 million comp to go up there. That is so strange. But speaking of money and as far as charging people, what is going on with Scottie Pippen? Charging people. I looked at the story, and the story basically indicated that he was allowing people to rent out his house to watch the Olympic Games. And so I tweeted out, I didn't know Scotty had a place in Tokyo. It's his house here. Like, what? I don't even understand. And it's not, and it's cheap. Does Scotty need the money?
Well, Scotty went bankrupt at one point.
Maybe he does need the money. He should probably charge a little bit more.
Famously went bankrupt at one point.
He should probably say Michael Jordan slept here, so you can get a little bit more money for it. But I thought that was a strange story.
The Branson mission, by the way, was one text says 53 miles, the other one says 7 miles. I know it was more than 7 miles. I believe it was. I think that 53 is probably right. I know it was up the 50, 60 mile range is how high they go.
How many feet in a mile?
5,280.
So planes are up there at like, I think my plane coming back from Philly, I think the guy said we're going to fly at 34,000. So do the math. So if it's 7 miles, then that
it's not 7. It's way more than 7.
It's got to be. I mean, the planes are higher than that, right?
It was around 50 or so. The 53 is probably correct. So I believe it was, I thought it was 50 or 60, something like that. 50 miles would be 264,000 feet.
And then where did they end up landing at?
They landed in New Mexico.
That's pretty incredible, though. That is pretty awesome.
Like that little, like the way it broke off and everything else, and then it's just kind of drifting back. Like it was, to me, it was like fascinating stuff. Like it was the idea that just this rich dude, just put this together and to get up that far and then just kind of float back down basically. It's a bizarre thing and it's fascinating to me. Like I started watching it, I couldn't turn it off. I was like, I got to see them come all the way back down to the ground now. Like this has got me. And they had a little graphic to show you like how quickly they were dropping, and it was like, my God, this is unbelievable. Like it's just, I don't know, that stuff captivates me. If I had a chance to do it, now not for $28 million, but if I had the chance to do it, I would absolutely do it in a heartbeat.
See, my mind goes the other way. I remember being in the newsroom in Salisbury, my TV station, my first TV station, and then watching the launch of the Space Shuttle Challenger. And then that's all I could think of is like, oh man, if I go up there and just, I mean, I'm sorry. So, there's not a lot of things I'm afraid of, but I don't like heights, but I still go in planes and things of that nature. And I know things can happen in planes, but very, very rare, very rare. These things are very rare, I assume too. But my gosh, it's not like it's coming from NASA, right? It's these billionaires putting together these things. I'd be a little afraid. I got to be honest with you.
Doug Texas says the kid that's going up, his dad came in second in the bidding, so that's why he's getting to go.
So Bezos is going to take the $28 million, not refund the first guy, and then take the second guy's money.
I don't know if that means this dad now has to pay that, and the other guy gets his money back. I don't know. Again, there's just no way you have a scheduling conflict. You paid $28 million for something. You don't then have something come up.
Change it.
That allows you. Oh, man, forgot that I had this to do that. I forgot I had a dentist appointment that day. I had my dates incorrect. There's just nothing in the world. If you have that much money to spend on something, you have the ability to clear your schedule of anything that could possibly come up.
No, it's like I committed $28 million to go up into space, but I told the kids we're going to go see Space Jam 2 or whatever it is, the new Space Jam, and I just can't. I can't do that to the kids. I just can't move it. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel the $28 million. Even though I'm on the hook for it, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. Yeah, that's weird. All right, this is kind of weird too, a little bit, but maybe not surprising because of Popovich. Adrian Wojnarowski tweeting out, there's significant support and momentum for Spurs forward Keldon Johnson to be added to the 12-man Team USA roster, sources tell ESPN. He's been playing with Olympic team as a member of the USA Select Group. Well-conditioned, has developed into a favorite of decision-makers and staff. Yeah, and he's also Pop's guy in San Antonio. Now, I said this earlier when we were talking about it, that it almost makes sense that they would pick guys from the team, the Select Group that was practicing with the Team USA. And those guys are members of the 57. But I don't know why you can't go off the board.
Those guys aren't all members of the 57 that were in that select.
Those guys aren't even?
Like John Jenkins and Dakota Mathias and Cameron Reynolds are part of that group.
But Keldon Johnson is too.
I know. And there are some guys that, like Darius Garland, there are some that you might consider. There are others that you wouldn't consider in a million years to actually add to the team.
No, you're right.
It's just that
I didn't know John Jenkins was on the team.
I don't know how they put that group together. I have no idea how they came up with those guys. But, yeah, there are some. And Keldon, it is not a surprise that suddenly one of the Spurs players would be the guy that, there's a lot of support for him. I wonder why there's support for him.
Yeah, shocking, isn't it?
The coaching staff's a big fan of his? Wow, a shocking development there. I'm wondering why that would be. So that is not surprising that somebody like that, and maybe it ends up being like Keldon Johnson and Darius Garland just because they're already there. I don't know, but I think
you can do a little better.
Who knows how they will go about actually doing this? Again, there's not a whole lot of time, and they still have to have that idea in the back of their head that what if these three guys playing in the finals? What if one, two, or all three of them decide? No, it's just too much. Any one of the three could get hurt. They could twist an ankle in Game 7 or something and say, no, I can't go. You still have three guys that are just in limbo that you don't absolutely know for sure you're going to have them.
And again, I ask the question, once the competition begins or once you go to Tokyo, can you still make roster changes if a player comes down with an injury or tests positive for COVID? What is going to happen there, or are you just out of luck? So I don't know how they're dealing with that. Tom Brady, wow. The story that came out yesterday, that he had played the entire season on a fully torn MCL and led the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl win. He had surgery after the season, getting ready for this upcoming 2021 season. That is the stuff of legends, and he didn't really need that to add to his legendary status. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's it's pretty amazing. That's at his age and playing on a torn MCL. That's pretty incredible stuff.
It drives me crazy when I listen to some of these analysts on ESPN, and they just look. He was not the best player on the Buccaneers, and it took all those guys because they have a star-studded team. But there are a couple of analysts who go, yeah, well, they won because of their defense. Let me tell you something. They won because of all of it, but they won because of the attitude of Tom Brady. You cannot slight what that winning formula is that he has, that he brought to Tampa Bay, changing the attitude of all these guys. And they would tell you to a player. But when you have an analyst or two that say, oh, yeah, they wasn't really Brady. And then you see this story at his age on a fully torn MCL. Let's give this guy the credit he deserves. He's a freak. He's an absolute freak. He's the absolute GOAT. And anybody tries to downplay that is just hating, in my opinion. That is, to hear that story yesterday. Look, Gabe, you're looking at me funny. What do you want to say?
No, I'm fine. I was just wondering, do you think Tom Brady doesn't get enough credit?
No, I think he gets a lot of credit, but some of those analysts on ESPN want to just
because when you look at the Super Bowl, it was his defense without question.
There's no question that if he doesn't have those players in position, they probably don't. But what I'm saying is the whole attitude of the organization changed with Tom Brady being there.
With that, and you can't deny the fact that they had Jameis Winston the year before and nothing happened. He threw 30 interceptions. They ended up going 7-9 or 8-8, whatever it was. And then next year they win the Super Bowl. So there's no denying he is the biggest change on that team and why they won a Super Bowl.
I'm not sitting here saying Tom Brady, he's by numbers, he's slinging around. He was the best quarterback in the league last year. Look at it. No, because he doesn't have that. But his leadership and still making big plays, yes, he wasn't the difference maker in that Super Bowl. That defense certainly was. But he was the difference maker with that team all year long from the time he walked into the organization's front doors in Tampa. And that's where I look. No, he gets the credit. Everybody looks at him. Not everybody, but most look at him as the GOAT. But when I hear, like, who was it? Not Spears, Marcus Spears, don't doubt. And then you see this story. This isn't BS. This is real. That guy at his age, on a fully torn MCL, led his team to the Super Bowl. Yes, he wasn't the end-all, be-all in the game itself. But the whole attitude of the organization changed because of one guy, and they all bought into it. So to me, that is pretty amazing.
By the way, Greg, we got a text says to you, they said, I'd rather fly on a rocket built by a millionaire than one on a government contract built by the lowest bidder. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, I understand. All right, we'll take it.
Somebody else says, do you get peanuts and juice in flight? I don't know what they got in the flight.
Probably nothing.
I don't know what they got during flight. I don't know if there was any service during flight.
You expect peanuts for $28 million? You're not getting anything.
I don't know. I don't know what Richard Branson or what Bezos is going to do.
Is there first class
when they're up there?
They got a bathroom in there. If you have to go, how fast is that thing moving? I wonder.
Oh, on the way up, it was going like, oh gosh, what was it? It was like Mach. Oh, I can't remember. Coming down, it's not going that fast, but going up when it first was launching, dude, it was because they had the little thing there on the TV. I can't remember what it hit, like what the highest it hit, but it was, oh my gosh, just absolutely just pure craziness.
I don't think I've heard the term Mach until you just mentioned it since I watched
Mach 3
Speed Racer.
Mach 3
back
was
in the
it?
day.
Yep.
What is Mach 3? I don't even know what Mach 3. How fast that
is.
You know what? That's above my pay grade. I don't know what Mach 3 is. I'll check it out for you.
Yeah, but you haven't lived until you've gone up Mach 4. Mach 4 is the big one. We'll take a timeout. This is Middays on Real. What is it?
2,301 miles per hour.
How does your skin stay on your face? This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports Time with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
It's time to trade up to a Kia sales event at Gossett Kia on Covington Pike. Get up and go in a 2021 Kia Rio 41 MPG Highway 0% and $239 a month. 2021 Kia Forte 0% and $268 a month. And get all-weather rugged and ready in 2022 Seltos $334 a month. Plus peace of mind with Kia's 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Get top dollar for your Kia trade today and trade up at Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike, or shop online 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J and he'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
$29.99 due at signing. Rio Forte 60 months at 0%. Rio ME 403.610. MSRP 17,315. Forte ME 379,469. MSRP 19,040. Seltos N 724 718 166 months at 1.9%. MSRP 24,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 must finance with KMF for low APR. Excludes tax file and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/2/2021. Dealer stock only.
Memphis, it's official, honey. Crab Kings is where it's at. The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp, chicken, salmon, and fried lobster pastas. There's snow crab, king crab, dungeons, and more. Please don't forget about the calamari, shrimp, and lobsters, honey. The portions, the price, the taste is only at Crab Kings. Download our app and search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at crabkingstn.com. Crab Kings, where the flavor is king.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
College football season is approaching quickly, and that means it's time for SEC Media Days. Brett Norsworthy is broadcasting live from Hoover, Alabama, Monday through Thursday, previewing the upcoming season and bringing you interviews with players, coaches, and SEC insiders. So tune in to Sports Time with Willow and Stats, as well as throughout the rest of the day for SEC Media Days coverage on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. It's brought to you by All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, Belly Acres, Golf Sticks Pretzels, and Mossy Oak Golf Club.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. Final segment, hour 2. Colin Morikawa shot a 64 today at the Open Championship at Royal St. George's Golf Club in Kent, England. He has a 1-shot lead. Actually, he's now tied. Jordan Spieth, 4 under through 13 today after shooting a 65 yesterday. They are 9 under par, Morikawa and Spieth. Louis Oosthuizen, 2 under through 11. He is 8 under par. He is 2 behind. And then a guy named Daniel van Tonder is 6 under par. Like Louis Oosthuizen, he is from South Africa. That's your top of the leaderboard look from the Open Championship. By the way, we were talking with Drew Hill about the Grizzlies. I still get this weird feeling that Chris Duarte is going to be the pick at 17. And I still remember somebody on the show saying that they know for a fact that Duarte has a pretty much like a deal, like a commitment from a team. I don't know why I think it's the Grizzlies. I'm probably way off with this. It's just Duarte is a guy that his name's popped up a few times when I've looked at mock drafts and things of that nature. But I think that may be a way that they end up going.
Well, they've had some success with the veteran from Oregon.
Keep it going.
They're going for Dylan 2.0.
Yesterday, we didn't get to this story, but I guess the other day, just rolling through Twitter like we all do, and I saw a story from, I want to say Action News 5, and it was a group called, and you know them, the Coliseum Coalition, who now are trying to step up to get the Mid-South Coliseum revitalized because the construction has officially begun at Liberty Park. So they are trying to do something. What they are trying to do, I have no idea. So I figured I'd bring it up because this one's right in your wheelhouse. You love it. You would love for them to find something to do to keep that arena up there and not knock it down. You love that place. I know you think that the memories are all gone once it gets knocked down and you would forget everything that ever happened there. So your thoughts, the Coliseum Coalition. I don't know much about them, but they've been in the news a lot over the years trying to do something with the Mid-South Coliseum, and right now they ain't done anything.
And my guess is they probably won't do anything. And it will just continue to stand there and rot away until maybe someday it just falls on its own. But by golly, we can't knock it down.
Wouldn't parking make sense? Nice brand new parking lot over there.
Literally anything else in the world makes sense other than a building that's falling, just falling apart and rotting away.
Shams is reporting that JaVale McGee has been selected to join the 12-man team USA for the Tokyo Olympics.
Yep.
Really?
It's going to be Keldon Johnson and JaVale McGee, according to Woj.
What? Really? Do they want to win gold? I know they probably won't get down to those guys. They'll be at the end of the bench, but come on now. That's who you've added? I forgot McGee's still in the NBA.
Was he on the 57? I think he was.
Well, everybody apparently but John Morant was on the 57. Wow. Keldon Johnson and JaVale McGee.
Yeah,
they roll off the tongue, those names.
You would have, I would have, if you would have said just start guessing who the replacement was going to be, I'm not sure that I could have ever gotten to JaVale McGee. I just don't know that would have never been a thing that could have possibly come to my mind.
Wait until Jeremy Grant pulls out. Hopefully he doesn't have to. And some obscure name they'll come up with for his replacement. By the way, speaking of the NBA, 2 stories yesterday, quite interesting. One report that the Spurs are interested in Philly's Ben Simmons. Maybe a deal which will include Keldon Johnson. And Damian Lillard, according to reports, will request a trade from the Blazers. If true, not unexpected. Where do you think the possible destination for Damian Lillard would be?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it would be
Lakers, right?
I don't know that the Lakers would have the means to trade for him.
Yeah, they figured it out.
I mean, you could do something with him and Ben Simmons for each other. Certainly would be a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
JaVale McGee, by the way, was on the 57. So apparently they decided to stick to that list.
I guess they had to have a big, some stiff guy who's just old and non-effective. But anyway, so you think Lillard, maybe Philly? I still think the LA teams, you never count them out.
There's reports about possibly the Knicks.
I was just going to bring up the Knicks. Maybe it's time for him to cash in on Madison Avenue.
I mean, they were starting Elfrid Payton at point guard last year. I'm sure they could use an upgrade.
Wow, you bring in Damian Lillard. They got some young assets there on that team. But Damian Lillard, again, according to reports, is going to request a trade if he hasn't done so already from the Portland Trailblazers. He's had enough with them. And the Spurs are interested. Doesn't mean that a deal will be made in Philly's Ben Simmons. Of course, Philadelphia is going to want the world for him.
The funny thing about that report on Dame Lillard, and it's Henry Abbott that is reporting that, but so is he going, and he says he's going to request it in the next few days. So is he basically going to request it right before he heads to Tokyo? Be like, by the time I get back from Tokyo, I expect to be playing for a different team. He's getting ready to head over to Tokyo. He's like, by the way, just before I go, one thing, trade me. See ya.
Yeah, and if this Abbott guy is accurate, then isn't, in essence, Lillard already made the request because it's out there in the media? He's going to – it's out there. If he's accurate, the request has happened. Portland, I think, reads – I'm sure the officials read social media as well. But I would imagine that Lillard's probably already hinted at it. I don't know if you have to make it official, write something down, meet somebody in person.
Well, yeah, I mean, if he's going to do it, he'll meet with the team. And
who is it, Neil Olshey? Who's the guy there that runs the show in Portland? Is it Olshey?
I'm not sure who's.
Yeah,
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, look, he gave it a run. It just didn't work out. This guy wants to win an NBA title. He's a hell of a player.
The hiring of Chauncey Billups has not gone well for Portland.
No.
I'll say that.
What does that say?
That has worked out. That has not worked out well at all. The more information that comes out about the whole process, it gets worse. Now Dame wants out. It is this whole hiring of Chauncey Billups is not a good look.
Yeah, who was it that said that they're not telling the truth? They did not do their due diligence.
There was a report from Oregon Public Broadcasting.
That's what it was.
They did not contact the accuser. They said they did this thorough investigation, but the lawyer from the accuser said that they did not contact the accuser at all.
All right, hour 3 coming up on the program. Final hour for the week. We'll have 10 in a row at 12:30. I think you'll enjoy the topic today, the game show that has swept the nation. A lot of other things to get into. If you want to be a part of the program, you can text at 360-8255. You can call in at 901-360-8255. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Sunrise Buick GMC is having their annual tent sale and the selection or savings are bigger than ever. A huge selection to choose from, big discounts from factory rebates high as $6,000. It's okay if you've got slow credit. Sunrise has over $500 million available for immediate financing with interest low as 0%. An $18 million used car inventory. And remember, Sunrise specializes in cars and trucks under $10,000. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. Savings and fun for all ages. The 33rd annual tent sale going on now at all Sunrise locations. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
The thing about comparing rates at Progressive.com is that by now you've heard a lot of ads about comparing rates at Progressive.com. We probably don't even need the words comparing rates anymore to remind you that seasoning steaks at Progressive.com is an easy way to save on car insurance, or that swimming in trousers helps you find the lowest rate. And that's the thing about foraging for truffles. You've heard a lot of ads about standing tiptoe on a cinder block. Compare rates and sing softly to a wounded field mouse and save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations.
Regions Bank presents Live at the Garden at Radiance Amphitheater at the beautiful Memphis Botanic Garden. Tickets are on sale now for Little Big Town, July 17th, Brad Paisley, August 13th, REO Speedwagon, August 27th, and Sheryl Crow, September 17th. Tickets can be purchased at Ticketmaster.com. Go to liveatthegarden.com for more information. Also presented by Duncan Williams, AutoZone, Gossett Motors, True Green, Pro Show, and Mahaffey Events.
The truth is, before all this even started, people tended to social distance themselves from me when I was eating at Central Barbecue. Once I get elbow deep in some Central Barbecue ribs, it's always a good idea to keep your distance. And now that this is going on, Central Barbecue will always be practicing social distancing and counting on you to do the same. We all want to get back to normal, but right now, if we all want to enjoy some delicious Central Barbecue, we're also going to have to at least act like we care about each other. We're looking forward to seeing you at Central Barbecue. Just, stay about 6 full racks of ribs away.
Start your engines, Mid-South. Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike is ready for the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event. Get plenty of pulling power and more standard features than Mazda CX-5 and Ford Escape in your new 2022 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. And hit the road in a 7-passenger 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander. We Gossett at $259 a month. All powered by our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So don't miss the Enjoy Your Summer Style sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 500 military rebate, 750 loyalty rebate, 48 months, 10,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Outlander NZO 16672, MSRP 29480, Cross NC 003186, MSRP 27725. Includes all manufacturer rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Everyone's watching to see what you do. Everyone's looking at you. Oh, everyone's wondering
Mike Reno. No, pump it up. Up. Oh, yeah. We're all working for the weekend. The weekend just about here. We got one more hour here on Sports 56 Middays before we hand the keys to the car to Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour. That'll be coming your way starting at 1 o'clock. But we got a busy third hour here on the program. Again, if you want to text in, 360-8255. Call in, same number, 901-360-8255. We got 10 in a row. The game show to sweat the nation. That'll be coming your way at 12:30.
A text here on the text line at 360-8255 says, why don't the Grizzlies buy the Coliseum? G League could play there. The Grizzlies couldn't have less of a desire to spend a bunch of money on a building for the G League team to play there.
They already have a building to play in. They don't own it, but
they're like, again, I can't even imagine what the price would be to get the Coliseum to a point where you could actually have an event in it.
Whenever I visit a city and I see like the old, dilapidated like arena, it bums me out. It looks trashy. And I know there's great memories, but come on, man. That thing's an eyesore. So I saw the still photo they put up on the story that I saw yesterday. I was talking about here at the end of hour 2 about the Coliseum Coalition. And you see a couple of guys, and in the background you see this like rundown, rusted truck on the side right outside the Coliseum and some other piece of equipment. It's an eyesore. It's what it is.
Yes, I mean it's there's, I don't even. I mean, if I had to guess, I would think probably even if you bought it like and you wanted to do something with it, it would probably be cheaper to just knock it down and start over anyway.
Mm-hmm. How about if Branson and Bezos, they went in a bidding war to buy it, and then it just became a spaceship. Just left the grounds and just floated up in the air. Maybe they could do that. They could put a little bid together for that. But if you haven't had a really good idea in all these years, how are you going to come up with something now? They got the Liberty Park going on. We had Mayor Strickland on to talk about that. That's going to be fantastic. So you got all this new stuff, and then you get that old raggedy arena.
But hey,
memories, man.
There was some
memories.
There was some great
like
professional wrestling in that building.
Well, there was. There was.
Brooks Koepka. God love Brooks Koepka. Brooks Koepka today shoots a 66. So he is at 5 under par for the tournament. Tied for 9th currently at the British Open. And after his round, he was interviewed by the Golf Channel. I believe it was actually Todd Lewis who was doing the original interview that that became such a great thing. And Brooks, once again, he just cannot resist.
Aggressive out there? Yeah, I thought the wind died down. Compared to yesterday, I didn't think it was as bad, so you could be a little bit more aggressive. Drove the ball great, loved my driver. Drove the ball great, loved my driver. It's everything's going really well. I felt like my pace was pretty solid.
He is relentless. He is absolutely relentless.
Drove the ball great, loved my driver.
He is. God bless him. He just every little crack that DeChambeau gives him, he is there to pounce on it. It's unbelievable. Like he did that, and the funny, like you watch his face, you could tell he almost laughs. Like it's hard for him to do it with a straight face, but he pulls it off, and it's just, man, oh man, it's priceless stuff.
Do you think it'll ever go too far where these guys will get in each other's face, or
because DeChambeau wants none of that?
Okay, do you think Jay Monahan's enjoying this?
Yes, it keeps it. I mean, golf could use more of these things. Golf needs some
characters.
It needs characters. It needs rivalries. Tiger's. There's a good chance Tiger Woods never playing again. Like it needs things to keep it in the national eye. And this feud and these little things, like that little video right there, was tweeted like by everybody. Like, as soon as they did that, everybody's tweeting that out. There's nothing else that could be said over there today that will get nearly as much activity on social media as that line from Brooks Koepka. So it's a way to keep golf current, and why not?
I love it.
If I was him, I would be like, yes, please, let's keep on doing it. Let's get some other guys involved. Can we get a fight between somebody else? I don't care, but yeah, I think absolutely the tour loves that type of activity from social media and everybody.
Turning our attention to the major leagues. Major League Baseball, of course, yesterday the big story, the Yankees-Red Sox game that was scheduled for ESPN was canceled because of 6 Yankees, at least 6 that I know of, that tested positive for COVID-19, including Aaron Judge. But
it was weird not having a single sporting event last night.
No.
I was like, what's going on? I don't know what to do. I was really looking forward to that game. I was like, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh gosh, we have no sporting events.
Yeah, I caught up on my Jersey Shore. I was behind on my Jersey Shore.
I had a big MTV terrible junk television night. Yes.
Did you watch Families of the Mafia or whatever that is, that new series?
No, I don't watch that.
Wasn't good. But
I had to catch up. I had Siesta Key, I had The Hills, and I had Jersey Shore.
Jersey Shore's great.
Jersey Shore's great.
It's fantastic. I mean,
all of their garbage television I love it all. I absolutely love their terrible television.
Well, while the Yankees and the Red Sox were catching the headlines, and understandably so for the game that wasn't played, the Chicago Cubs, you may know them, Eli. You may follow them a little bit. They got rid of Jock Peterson. The Atlanta Braves picked him up. Chris Bryant could be out the door. Who knows what's happening, but it does seem like they are starting to sell as we got teams now that are either positioning themselves to acquire players or get rid of players as we near the deadline. And obviously we are deep into the season. The All-Star break is behind us now, and now teams are positioning themselves for that stretch run. But the Cubs look like they're waving the white flag.
No, there's no doubt they're waving the white flag. That is a given. The question is how many are they going to part with? There is a report today that apparently their thought is they might try to keep Avi Baez and Anthony Rizzo and lock them up long term. But Bryant is, I think, almost certainly going to be traded. Craig Kimbrell, 100% will be traded. And the weird part is Craig Kimbrell is actually probably going to be the guy who gets them the most in a trade. The guy who 2 years ago was awful and couldn't get anybody out now is probably going to be the most valuable trade piece they have as they look to do this rebuild, which is just bizarre. Obviously, the Braves had a need with Ronald Acuna's injury, so they get Jock Peterson, who's fine. Jock Peterson is not great. He's not terrible. He is just a thoroughly average baseball player. Offensively. Defensively, he's not even average. He's below average defensively, but that's not. And the Braves gave up, some guy from A-ball that, the reports are that he likes to swing and miss a lot. But when he does hit it, he hits it hard. So that's good. But it's, this is going to be fascinating for the Cubs because they continue to act like a small market team, even though they are the farthest thing from that. But they will, they could end up like completely cleaning house where the end of this season, their roster could be just pure garbage, what they trot out there on a daily basis.
They're 8 games out. The Cardinals are tied with them at 44 and 46. I don't see the Cardinals going that route. They never do that. The Cards never seem to be sellers at the trade deadline.
No, but the two teams came into this season with different mindsets. The Cardinals made a move in the offseason, a very big move, to go get Nolan Arenado. So they came in with the idea of we are trying to win. Mm-hmm. The Cubs came into this season. They traded Yu Darvish in the offseason. The Cubs came into this season already starting the process of rebuilding. So the two came in with different mindsets. So at 8 games out, if the Cubs had not had the 11-game losing streak, like if they would have stayed in first place, they would have. That was the only way they were not going to do this. But now that the 11-game losing streak for their front office and ownership probably was they were probably in some ways happy. The ownership was, not the front office. Ownership. Tom Ricketts was probably a little bit happy because he knew that could set them up now to just go ahead and unload everybody, and it doesn't, and nobody, and hope that fans will just go, okay, well, that makes sense. We're 8 games out.
And also, you brought up the Cardinals, Greg. I don't know, being a Cardinals fan, who the hell they'd sell. Who would they sell that would get them anything substantial in return? At least the Cubs have a decent amount of guys that still are very, very productive. Like, I look at the Cardinals roster. Matt Carpenter isn't sellable. You look at Paul DeYoung's not sellable. No one on that team is sellable besides their stars, Paul Goldschmidt,
Flaherty,
and Nolan Arenado. Flaherty, would you sell him?
No, but I'm saying
Probably not.
if you're waving the white flag, but I don't think they will because they never do. I've been here in Memphis since '95. I just don't remember a season where the Cardinals are always in it, right? But I just don't remember a season where they give up. They always seem to hunker down and do something else and acquire a player instead of give up a player. But it's a great point you make, Gabe. But Eli, do you think this is going to be a long run for the Cubs to get back to where they once were? Do you think this might – are you worried about this lingering for a long time?
Well, yeah, you always have to worry about that. I mean, they keep acting like that they don't believe this is going to be a complete rebuild, but their farm system is depleted, and because they have not been good in drafting and developing over the past few years. So their farm system is ranked like 26th in Major League Baseball or something, I think, coming into this year. So there's not a bunch. And even the best, all of the guys they traded, they got in the Darvish trade are all like low A guys. Like there's no, all of their best prospects are guys at like A and double A, a little bit of double A, but they're not guys that are on the brink of coming up and helping. And the thing with again, Kimbrel will probably get them some decent stuff, but I don't know what Chris Bryant will get them. He's going to be it's going to be a very weird case because in all likelihood he is a rental for whoever gets him. Because Scott Boras is his agent, and it's going to be a nightmare trying to re-sign him for whoever. Whoever. I mean, unless he goes to the Dodgers or Yankees, that might know that, hey, we could just throw all this money in the Dodgers with Justin Turner, not going to do it. But if the Yankees or maybe even the Mets, and who the Mets were talked about in the offseason with him. But I don't know what you give up for the idea that you may not be able to re-sign him. He's a very valuable player and that he can hit, and he also. I mean, he's played 5 positions. He plays third, first, and all 3 outfield positions this year. He barely even plays third base anymore. He is by nature a third baseman, but he doesn't play third base very much anymore. He's normally in the outfield for the Cubs and can play all 3 of those spots. So there is a value to a guy who you just know there is some spot in your lineup you could put him in to fill in for somebody on a day if you need to move him around, and who can actually hit. And he's a great base runner and all that stuff. But but Scott Boras is going to, asked for the moon in the offseason to re-sign him.
Did you see the story where his father was upset at Joe Buck for talking to him, I think, when he was up at the plate?
No, it's when he was in the field.
When he was in the field?
It was the same. Gabe brought that up the other day about asking him asking about the trade rumors during that setting. But, again, it's one of those things when you are talking to Chris Bryant right now, it's kind of one of the things he gets asked about every time because it is a thing. Everybody knows that he is on the market to be traded.
Well, yes. And it goes back to our interview with Tony Barnhart. We were talking about LSU and Coach O, and that the LSU Sports Information Department basically trying to tell the media, don't ask him any questions about all the off-the-field stuff, because he has no answers for it. And then Tony was like, well, I'm certainly going to ask. And yeah, as journalists, you need to. But there's also times where you can just use your smarts and go, I'm not getting anything out of this question. If this is the only question, and that won't be the case with Tony, but for any journalist, if you're getting, especially when the Zoom things were happening, you got one question, you got one shot, don't ask something you're obviously not going to get any type of response from.
Yeah, I mean, I think I get both sides. I get the idea of you're miking a guy up in the All-Star game while he's playing the field. This is kind of a lighthearted type thing anyway. We're kind of having some fun with this. So are you sure you really be asking about trade rumors at that point in time?
Right.
Whereas also I could see from a Joe Buck side, like, well, if I don't ask him about this, people are going to be like,
they're going to crush me.
Why the heck did you? How do you talk to Chris Bryant and not ask him about the trade rumors? I can understand both sides of that thing, and I can understand why Bryant or anybody or his dad would be maybe like is that if he's willing to do the mic'd up thing in the field for you. I'm not sure that's the setting to ask him about trade rumors.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. You ask Chris Bryant if you want to be mic'd up, and he says yes. Well, he could have easily said, and I don't know, maybe he did say it. Yeah, I'll mic up. I'll do this. I'll have some fun with you, but do not talk to me about the trade rumors. Don't talk to me about the trade rumors. Maybe he didn't say it. And if he didn't say it, it's fair game. And so I'm certainly not upset at Buck for asking, but I could see Pops being upset because it's his kid. And it takes a little bit away from the fun, and it was a real enjoyable All-Star game because they were having a good time, and you're talking about something serious.
And I doubt that Chris really cared because he seems like a very kind of just easygoing, like not much really gets to him on that side. So
right.
I doubt that he cared a whole lot about it, but I could see where Dad's like, that's probably not the setting to do it.
You were talking earlier about the farm system of, was it the Cubs? The farm system of the Cardinals, the Redbirds, who had struggled for a long time, are red hot right now. They've won like 5 or 6 in a row. Last night they got a grand slam from Lane Thomas, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Gabe, started with the Cardinals and was in the starting lineup opening day. Is that correct with Lane Thomas?
I'd have to go check.
He's
been up. He's been up and down.
Yeah, I thought he was in the starting lineup opening day, but Thomas hit a grand slam last night, and the Redbirds starting to show some signs of life. Good for them as they put together a nice little winning streak. Elsewhere in Major League Baseball, you still look at that NL West with the Giants, Dodgers, and Padres, 3 incredibly talented teams. But the Giants, what a story. Continue to be the top story by far as teams that were not expected to do anything, and they're sitting here at 25 games over 500. That organization needs to be applauded for what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. I mean, they were not thought of at all to be going to be up there with the Dodgers and Padres, and to be on top of that is they seem to find ways to do it constantly. One of those organizations that continues to have good years, and even when the people change, they'll just kind of have a kind of winning atmosphere out there, and they continue to do it.
30-13 at home, 27-19 on the road. They're a plus 116 run differential. Just an amazing story there. Over in the American League, Red Sox are a good story. Their lead is a 1.5 games over the Rays. Yankees have been a big disappointment. They're sitting there tied with Toronto, 8 games out. The Yankees now 3 games over 500. How about the White Sox? Nobody's surprised at where the White Sox are. An incredibly talented team. They're 54-35. They're going to run away with that division. They're up 8 now in the Central. Tony La Russa. Do you give him the coach, the manager of the year award in the American League, or is it Dusty with what he's doing with the Astros, or is it Cora in Boston? Alex Cora, I believe it's Alex Cora, right? Do you give it to him?
Well, I would not. I would not give it to La Russa because I just think they're that good.
Then anybody could have skippered them?
Yeah, I think anybody that was managing that team this year was going to be good. Like that team is. That's why we did our predictions and I had them in the World Series. Like they're just loaded. They're absolutely loaded. And now they're going to get Eloy Jimenez back here in the near future as well to add to that team. That is a very good roster. I would say if you're going based off preseason expectations and stuff, I would give it to Cora over La Russa at this point. And you can always put Cash in the conversation because they just do it they get rid of Blake Snell, doesn't matter. Like they just continue to find a way to win. The Yankees are going to be interesting because now there is a report. It looks like that. I guess they are supposed to play the game tonight, but they have I think it's like 8 games against the Red Sox here before the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. So that could determine a lot about what direction the Yankees go. There are some reports that they are looking right now as being buyers. But if all of a sudden they lose 7 of the 8 to the Red Sox and they're 12 games out at the deadline, I can't imagine they're buyers at that point. So then they could become sellers, and that could open up some things. But they've got a big decision to make, and this whole COVID outbreak probably not gonna help them in that quest to try and figure things out.
All right, one other thing before we take a timeout. We got 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation on the other side. But you wanted to bring up the story about the young lady in China?
Oh, dude, that video, I don't know if folks saw the video, but this video of this, they say 14-year-old girl that is 7'4".
What?
And watching her play basketball against these poor little girls, it's like.
Is she coordinated? You don't have to be. I don't think it's 7'4" against little girls.
Like, I know Gabe retweeted the video of like the jump ball to start the game was hilarious. Like this poor little girl came up to like her knees, but she did jump to try and get it.
They clearly put their smallest player out there too, just to be funny.
The fact that she did,
there's an effort.
I give her credit. Like she literally comes up to the other girl's knee basically, and she's trying to jump to get the jump ball. But no, I mean she can catch the ball and put it in the basket. She's blocking shots, but. Okay. I mean, who am I to doubt the Chinese people? There's no way she could be 14 years old and 7'4".
Was she created in a lab?
Like, I just don't. You think Danny Almonte looked old, and we had questions about him when he was playing Little League. A 7'4" girl at 14 years old.
I haven't seen the video yet.
I don't even think that's possible.
I need to see the video. I haven't seen the video yet. 7'4". So, and I know girls mature earlier than guys and all that stuff. So I don't know how much longer she'll still grow, if grow at all anymore. But I mean, what is she going to be? 7'7"? It's going to be.
I don't even think your body physically could. Like if you grew to 7'4" by 14 years old, like your body would not work.
I know. Who was 7'7"? Was that Minute? Or what was Yao? 7'4"?
Yao Ming was 7'4",
and Minute was like 7'7", right?
Were like 7'6".
Yeah. Wow, that is crazy.
I refuse. They cannot possibly convince me that girl's only 14 years old. There's just no way. I just don't think it's physically possible for a 14-year-old girl to be 7'4".
I don't know what her intentions are, but every single women's basketball coach in this country should have offers out to her. I don't know if she wants to come to the United States, wants to go to college, wants to play college basketball, but they should all have offers out there to her.
She's probably already committed to UConn. Text here says, if you look at team ERA, I think the first 3 are Dodgers, Giants, Padres. Pitching still wins. Yeah, well, pitching, I mean, pitching is – these guys can't hit.
I mean, you got to be able to hit the ball, but you're right. When it comes down to it, the dominating pitching staffs usually are in position to win World Series titles.
But the Dodgers, if they do have to play the rest of the season without Trevor Bauer, granted they can always go pick up another one because they don't care. But but now that's they've already lost May for the year. Now if you lose Bauer for the rest of the year as well, like they may have to try and make a move for a pitcher coming up at the deadline. New Life Medical Centers at 9160 Highway 64. They're open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 1 on Saturday. Treating what ails you with primary and urgent care. That's what they do for you. Plus a lot of other things like testosterone replacement therapy for the guys. They also have some weight loss programs that they do. They do treat erectile dysfunction. All kinds of things that they'll do to help you feel your best at New Life Medical Center. You don't need an appointment to go see them. You can just walk on in at 9160 Highway 64. But if you do want to make an appointment, if you've got questions about any services, you can give them a call at 901-213-0100, 901-213-0100. They do still offer COVID testing as well. That's at 9160 Highway 64, New Life Medical Center.
I'm not saying it's easy or difficult, although I think I lean toward easy, but I love the topic of our 10 in a row category today. So if you want to play 10 in a row, jump on the phone lines right now, 360-8255, 360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. We'll play 10 in a row when we return. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Brian Elder. The great Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn had a slogan: the best surprise is no surprise. And that's so true. When I sit at your kitchen table, you're going to understand exactly what I'm going to do to your roof. From the underlayment to the hip shingles and ventilation, the flashing, the wood repairs, the cleanup, the crew safety, the warranty. It's amazing how many customers sign contracts being told none of that stuff. But the best surprise is no surprise. Insurance claims. Talk to your friends. More and more claims are being rejected, and only experienced claim specialists are getting those terrible decisions overturned. So if you don't hire me, please hire someone to manage the process with the experience to see it through. The best surprise is no surprise. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
O'Reilly. When it's a warm day and your car's AC is blowing hot air, you need some relief. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and talk to our professional parts people about AC Pro refrigerant recharge kits for your vehicle. Buy now and you'll get a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate. Keep cool this summer with AC Pro refrigerant at O'Reilly Auto Parts, in store or at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981, 0.9% MSRP, $20,685. Sportage in 79.79, 540, 0% MSRP, $26,060. K5 NGO 95054, 0.9% MSRP, $25,840. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It's a cold, wet December day, and we touch the ground in JFK. Snow was melting on the ground. Yes, I heard the sound of an angel.
Welcome back. Final half hour for us today here on Sports 56 Middays. It is time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation. It's 10 in a row. We need you to jump on the phone lines right now. They are wide open. 360-8255, 901-360-8255. Eli, what are they playing for today?
Today, we're going to give a $25 gift certificate to Sweetgrass in Cooper Young. We'll do $25 to Sunrise, fantastic breakfast and lunch place on Jefferson. And going to throw in a couple of Malco movie passes as well.
All right, nice prize package for you. Here's the question. Again, I like this one. College football stars who played for a Power 5 program. College football stars who played for a Power 5 program. Power 5 programs being schools that are in the ACC, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, or Pac-12. College football stars who played for a Power 5 program. So I'll give you the name of that player. If they played for a school in one of the Power 5 conferences, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. It's that simple. For example, Eli Savoy, if I said Peyton Manning.
I would say yes.
And you would be correct, sir. 360-8255 if you want to play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. College football stars who played for a Power 5 program.
By the way, speaking of Peyton Manning, have you been watching College Bowl?
I watched the first couple rounds. I watched when Auburn was on there and Alabama was on there. Like, they went up against each other.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. Peyton and Cooper do a pretty good job on there. I like it. I've watched all of them.
Peyton's
cool.
really good because they get to that, like, what is it, like a 2 minute
2 minute drill.
2 minute drill, and he's good.
No, he's really good. Really good. It's Cooper kind of is got some funny little lines in there. So
he's like sidekick Cooper.
It's been entertaining stuff. 360-8255. 360-8255. Again, $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 to Sunrise, and a couple of Malco movie passes going to the winner of 10 in a row. Jerry will lead us off. Well, hold on here. If I can get my computer working correctly, Jerry will lead us off. All right, hold on, folks. Computer's got a computer issue.
I can punch him up.
All right, I think I'm just about ready.
You good? Okay.
If I can get my internet. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe I know. I'm not sure if my internet is working here.
Let me go ahead and punch up Jerry. Jerry, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. How are you?
Okay. Hope you're doing well. College football stars who played for a Power 5 program. Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
Dante Culpepper.
No.
Randy Moss.
No.
Kajana Carter.
Yes.
Isaac Bruce.
No.
Andre Ward.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. We go to Don. Hello, Don.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing well. Thank you. All right, here we go. List number 2, Howie Long.
Yes.
360-8255. We go to Cedric. Hey, Cedric.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much. College football stars who played for a Power 5 program. Jerome Bettis.
No.
360-8255. We go to Super Mario. What?
Hey, what's going on?
I would argue on the Jerome Bettis.
Well,
you said in one of the Power 5 conferences.
Well, Notre Dame is considered a Power 5 program. Come on.
I'm just saying. You said it was the Power 5 conferences.
Notre Dame's included. Notre Dame's not a Group of 5 school. My bad on that. But Notre Dame, yes, that's part of the Power 5. Sorry. Mario, are you there?
Yep.
Howie Long.
No.
Terrell Davis.
Terrell Davis, no.
360-8255. We go to.
I've got it working now.
You got it working? Okay.
Next up is Branson.
Was that Richard Branson? Branson, how are you?
Doing great.
Need to lower your radio a little bit.
Oh, I can hear you. Oh. All right.
All right, here we go. Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
Dante Culpepper.
Yes.
360-8255. Who's next?
Next up is Andre. Hey, Andre.
Andre, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Howie Long.
No.
Terrell Davis.
Yes.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
Yes.
360-8255. Who's next?
Next up, we've got Dave. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Dave. Hey, guys.
Hey, Dave. Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
Dante Culpepper.
No.
Randy Moss.
No.
Kajana Carter.
Yes.
Isaac Bruce.
No.
Andre Ward.
No.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Yes.
Sterling Sharp.
No.
360-8255. Next.
Is that supposed to be Andre Ware?
Did I say Andre Ward? I've been pronouncing it wrong.
Andre Ward.
Andre Ware.
I don't know who Andre Ward is.
They've gotten it all right. Andre Ware. I don't know why I said Ward.
Bill is next. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Howie Long.
No.
Terrell Davis.
Yes.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
Yes.
360-8255. College football stars who played for a Power 5 program and or Notre Dame.
Next up is Sam. Hey, Sam.
Hey.
Hey, Sam. Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
Dante Culpepper.
No.
Randy Moss.
No.
Kajana Carter.
Yes.
Isaac Bruce.
No.
Andre Ware.
No.
Keyshawn Johnson.
No.
Wrong answer. Next.
Next is Val. Hey, Val.
Hey.
Val Howie Long.
No.
Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
No.
Dick Butkus.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Next.
Next up is Mark. Hey, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going well. Jerome Bettis.
Yes.
Dante Culpepper.
No.
Randy Moss.
No.
Kajana Carter.
Yes.
Isaac Bruce.
No.
Andre Ware.
No.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Yes.
Sterling Sharp.
Yes.
Walter Payton.
No.
Jim Brown.
Yes.
Winner.
Well done, Mark. Congratulations, Mark. You are a winner. Hold on. Gabe will let you know how to come get your prizes. You got $25 to Sweetgrass, $25 from Sunrise, and a couple of Malco movie passes. Hold on.
All right, what about second chance?
Michelle and Carl on hold. I'll give them both a shot.
Okay.
Michelle first. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey.
Here we go. Howie Long.
Howie Long? No.
Terrell Davis.
Yes.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
No.
Dick Butkus.
Yes.
Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Khalil Mack.
Yes.
Next.
Last shot is Carl. Hey, Carl.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
All right, Carl. Howie Long.
No.
Terrell Davis.
Yes.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
No.
Dick Butkus.
Yes.
Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Khalil Mack.
No.
Carson Wentz.
No.
Michael Irvin.
Yes.
Tony Romo.
No.
Richard Sherman.
Yes.
There you go. Second chance winner. Nice job.
Carl, congratulations. We'll get you some Sweetgrass and Sunrise as well. Hold on.
There we go. Sorry for the confusion with Notre Dame and Jerome Bettis. I just assumed that. Yeah, Power 5 conferences and Notre Dame. My bad on that one. Yeah, I don't know why I was reading. Andre Ward's a boxer, but I'm reading my penmanship is terrible. Yeah, Andre Ware. People got that right. But there we go. That's 10 in a row. So can you name the schools, Eli? Let's go over this real quick. Obviously, Bettis, Notre Dame. Dante Culpepper.
UCF.
Randy Moss.
Marshall.
Kajana Carter.
Penn State.
You know Isaac Bruce. You better know him. Andre Ware.
Houston.
Keyshawn Johnson.
USC.
Sterling Sharp.
I don't know on Sterling Sharp. I don't know where he went to college.
He went to an SEC school in the East.
South Carolina.
You are correct, Sam. Walter Payton.
Jackson State.
Jim Brown.
Syracuse.
Howie Long.
Villanova.
Very nice. Terrell Davis.
Georgia.
Ed Too Tall Jones.
Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm. Dick Butkus.
Illinois.
You better know that one. Saquon Barkley.
Penn State.
Khalil Mack.
Buffalo.
Nice. Carson Wentz.
North Dakota State.
Michael Irvin.
Miami.
Tony Romo.
Eastern Illinois.
Richard Sherman.
Stanford.
Well done. There is talk, by the way, that, and I don't know who else is on the schedule for that weekend, but the Southern Heritage Classic will have, obviously, Tennessee State, Jackson State. And they've had some bad luck over the last 3 years with weather and then COVID and all that. But you have Eddie George coaching Tennessee State and primetime Deion Sanders coaching Jackson State. That there is the possibility that game day could be in Memphis for that. What do you think about that?
Well, ESPN's going to be here for sure with the first take that Friday.
But what about the whole game day crew?
I would be surprised.
Would you?
Yes.
They have ventured away from just the big time boys and even Division I. They've gone to Division I AA. They've had some events that involve those teams. Why not something like this? I mean, right now it seems like it's kind of a push, right, for the historically black colleges and universities to give them the exposure that they deserve. And you're talking about Deion Sanders and Eddie George as coaches? That would be really, really cool if that happened.
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be shocked because, again, they're already going to be here. We know ESPN's going to be here, I don't know what other games would be possibilities on that weekend or anything.
Nor do I.
But I would be a little surprised that early in the year that they would do that. But it certainly is a possibility. Moving could be very stressful. The folks at Black Tie Moving will take that stress out of it, take the worry out of the process for you, as they'll take good care of your belongings and getting them to wherever you are moving to. Whether it's across town or across country, the folks at Black Tie Moving can help. They sit down with you, come up with a plan that fits your needs, fits your budget, and then they're going to make sure they execute it perfectly, and you don't have to worry. You'll have your own moving concierge available 24/7 to answer any questions you've got. You can get a no-obligation quote very easily. Just give them a call, 901-316-6196, or go to their website at blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. All kinds of 5-star ratings online that you could check out as well with Black Tie Moving. They are the best in the business. Don't try and do it yourself. Get the experts to do it for you from Black Tie Moving.
Well, Henry Abbott's getting ripped by a Portland Trailblazer teammate of Damian Lillard. We'll talk about that and have one final thing as we put a wrap on this Friday edition of Middays, put a wrap on the week here on Middays when we return. Here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Grab a seat with Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Farmers Insurance knows that when you're in the car and that song comes on, yes, that's the one, you have no choice but to pull out your imaginary drumsticks and smash those cymbals and stomp on that kick pedal, which unfortunately is the accelerator pedal. And we covered it. Talk to a farmer's agent who knows a thing or two because they've seen a thing or two.
Call Chad Gatlin at 901-235-1176 or get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Don't miss the savings during Lowe's Just for Pros event. Stop by the Pro Desk and get an extra 5% off volume savings orders over $1,500. Plus, look for more savings across the store, including tools, paint, lighting, and other pro essentials to help you get the job done right. Shop today at Lowe's, the new home for pros. Discount on eligible product only and reflected in quote. Terms and exclusions apply. See Pro Desk in store for details. Now through July 30th. U.S. only.
Hey, Mid-South, it's time to trade up at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah during the Trade Up to a Kia sales event. Hey, what's happening over there, Jeff Allen?
We got it going on, and we're ready to help you trade up to your next Kia. I've got a 2022 Kia Soul, not a lease, and 0.9% APR, $289 a month. 2022 Kia Sportage, 0% APR, and only $365 a month. And if you want American-made, we got it with 2022 Kia K5 now, $374 a month.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All $29.99 down payment, 60 months, sold in 715-0981, 0.9%, MSRP $20,685, Sportage in 79,79,540, 0% MSRP $26,060, K5 NGO 95054, 0.9%, MSRP $25,840, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 7/31/2021. Dealer stock only. Must finance through Kia on APR offer.
Whether it's football, basketball, baseball, golf, or real estate, having the winning coach makes all the difference in your success. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I'm with Coach Terry Tippett, winner of 6 state basketball championships. Coach, what's been the secret to your and your team's successes?
Sheldon, there's no one secret. It becomes a pattern of success after coaching for so many years and learning the ins and outs of the game and the players. A lot like the pattern of your success in selling homes.
Thanks, Coach. Like you and your program, I developed my highly successful strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option, and I also tried to use it in my golf game.
Sheldon, tried is the optimum word. You better stick to selling homes, as you're always hitting holes in one at that instead of double bogeys.
Thanks a lot. And if anyone is thinking of selling their home, make sure and talk to 2 to 3 coaches. I mean real estate brokers. Let me be one of them. You can reach me at 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com and be a winner.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Check it and see. I got a fever of 103. Come on, baby, do you do more than dance? I'm hot-blooded.
We were talking earlier about the story from Henry Abbott, a tweet that he said Damian Lillard in the next couple of days is going to tell the bosses at the with the Portland Trailblazers that he wants a trade. Some guy named Henry Abbott, who's a legitimate media member. Well, Yusuf Nurkic of the Portland Trailblazers and teammate of Damian Lillard comes out and basically challenges Abbott. First of all, he says, "What a clown, bro." He shows a little picture of the clown. What a clown, bro. Keep clowning. And then he said, "Y'all really about to believe a guy with the name Henry Abbott?" What? What? As Gabe said during the break, yeah, but we're about to believe a guy named Yusuf Nurkic. And what's wrong with Henry Abbott? And so Abbott responds, he says, he has come awfully close to saying it himself. Has he told you different? And Nurkic comes back with, y'all keep guessing at this point. That's my brother, and you still have a better source? Question mark. Come on. Hashtag come on. So there you go. A little Nurkic-Abbott feud. But come on, Yusuf. What are you knocking the guy's name?
Henry Abbott's been a pretty good reporter for a lot of years around the NBA.
Yeah, and he's knocking. Why are you knocking the guy's name? What's wrong with his name? Number one. Number two. Why are you knocking anybody's name?
Raider Corey was asking when College Bowl is on. Is on Tuesday nights. It's after America's Got Talent. I don't know if it's 8 o'clock or 9. I don't know what time America's Got Talent ends. I got it set to record. It just appears in my recordings magically. I don't know. I want to say it's 9 o'clock. I think America's Got Talent goes from 7 to 9, and then College Bowl's on at 9.
And then it's repeated like 100 times during the week. Like every time I turn around, put the TV on, it's on. By the way, at the Open Championship, Louis Oosthuizen now 12 under par and is a 3-shot lead over Colin Morikawa. He's gotten real hot.
It's what birdie eagle.
Birdie. That'll do it. Spieth has dropped to 8. One of your other guys, Scotty Scheffler, at 6 under right now as I'm watching him. John Thompson with a hole-in-one at the Open Championship. He is 6'9". He's the tallest player in both PGA and European Tour history. How about that? 6'9", just aced one at the Open Championship.
Not the former football coach here, John Thompson.
No, not that John Thompson.
Not the Georgetown basketball coach. No part of that lineage, right? Nope. Georgetown basketball coach.
No. Of course,
because
Pops died. He passed away, and then John Thompson III, he's still around, but no, it's not him.
John Rahm, by the way, who struggled a bit yesterday, he's got it going today. 5 under through 14 on his round. Now at 4 under for the tournament. So the pre-tournament favorite has turned things around here on day number 2. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
I'm going to read the goodbye of his Gunnar Hoglund. Hoglund. I keep saying Hoglund. Gunnar Hoglund, who, of course, got drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball amateur draft, put out on social media a goodbye to the fans of the Rebels. When I first visited Oxford, I knew right away that this place was special and wanted to be a part of it. It has been a pleasure representing the University of Mississippi both on and off the field. To the people of Oxford, thank you for treating me like family. I am nothing but grateful for my past 3 years here. The memories made and the lessons learned will impact my life forever. I would like to thank my coaches, the fans, and most importantly, my teammates for making these years the best 3 years of my life. Thank you, Rebel Nation. And as always, Hottie Toddy. Gunnar Hoglund.
Hoglund.
I keep messing that up. My gosh.
He's a good story because he was drafted in the first round out of high school, turned down that, bet on himself a little bit, and ends up getting selected higher. He was, I think, 36th out of high school, and now goes 19th. Would have went higher if it wasn't for the Tommy John surgery. But that's a big risk to take. You're drafted in the first round out of high school. To turn that down and then have it pay off and end up getting drafted higher, that's good for him. I think I saw his contract is Somebody tweeted out what his contract was earlier. I want to say it was in the $3 million range that he got, something like that.
Nice.
So good for him, and hopefully the recovery from Tommy John goes well, like most guys do, and he'll be back out there and pitch well. We mentioned earlier, and again, this is not a joke, that Keldon Johnson and JaVale McGee are the two replacements for Team USA for the Kevin Love, who I guess we call it injured Kevin Love, and Bradley Beal, who is got COVID. JaVale McGee, this is an interesting note. JaVale McGee will be the first player for Team USA in the Olympics without a current NBA contract since 1988.
Wow.
And that was when NBA players were not allowed. So obviously nobody had an NBA contract then. But since then, first one without an NBA contract since 1988. He is currently a free agent.
So I technically was right. Even though he's not out of basketball per se, I said I didn't even know he was still in basketball, still with a team. Well, apparently he's not. He's not with a team.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Right, I understand. But it doesn't guarantee he's coming back with a team next season.
Oh, I bet he will. I
mean, bigs are bigs, and you need bigs, but my gosh, JaVale McGee. I like Keldon John. I do
JaVale
like
McGee
him.
actually puts us in. There's a chance we could have an international incident. Like JaVale McGee is. He's a little different. Like we could have some sort of international incident at these Olympics with JaVale McGee over there.
Dustin Johnson 6 under par on the course. Scheffler 6 under. I mentioned. I think both those were your picks. We'll see what happens with the Open Championship. We'll recap it on Monday. But we got a very busy show on Monday as SEC Media Days begin. And Stats Norsworthy will be there. He'll be joining us at 11:30. Ron Higgins will be on with us at 12:05 to talk about the LSU situation. We'll have wall-to-wall coverage all week long next week with the SEC Media Days. When is the AAC Media Days? Do you know?
I saw something about them the other day, but I don't know. And I think they're just doing a virtual thing.
They're doing the virtual thing.
I want to say that. I thought I read that somewhere, but I don't. I'm not. I can't. Don't necessarily quote me on that, and I certainly don't know the date. But we do want to thank our sponsors for SEC Media Days: All Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, the Commissary in Germantown and Collierville, Ronnie Grisani's Mossy Oak Golf Club, Memphis Tourism Sports Council, Jason's Deli, Golf Sticks, Pretzels, and Belly Acres.
What a great golf course, by the way, Mossy Oak. Man, it is fantastic. Also, NBA Finals game number 5 tomorrow in Phoenix. The Suns and the Bucks all even at 2. We'll recap that as well on a very busy Monday edition of Midday starting at 10 o'clock. But right now, we're handing the keys to John Harden at Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. It is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Thank you for listening. Thanks for all your calls, your texts, your tweets. We always appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Monday.
Best I can